show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Welcome guys to what is yet another day of Title Tuesday. We're in the Holy Grail right now. The Take office. This is where we're actually getting ready for what is going to be yet another magnificent Tuesday. We're going to have good chess. We're going to have the best players in the world. And of course, we're going to have tons of action and the best commentator you find anywhere. David Howell, you ready?
Let's go.
I mean, this is the Dave Cave. This is obviously sitting right next to what is our guest streaming room. But, you know, today we're going to have Lucas streaming. We're not going to be using the Dave Cave. We're going to be going into what is the most sacred room in this building. The office, the streaming room of Magnus Carlsen. This is where Lucas is going to be sitting. Of course, when you're here, you also have to have a good view of the picture that Magnus has on his desk. It's going to be Ella, who's here watching him the entire time. It's going to be magnificent. Guys, get ready, because right now we're heading into this room where the magic is going to be created. We're going to have yet another Title Tuesday. Get ready, it's going to be action.
Looks like Farouche is almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now. Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
And if that clip doesn't get you in the mood for a Title Tuesday, I'm not sure what is going to. We have yet another Tuesday going for us. I'm flanked by Grandmasters today. David Howell on my right. Aryan, Tari, you went from streamer last week to being a commentator this week. You excited?
Definitely. It's nice to have a new role. I'm looking forward to watch all the exciting games.
Do you get any FOMO, guys, not playing in the Title Tuesday and being stuck here with me instead?
Occasionally. That's why I play so much bullet chess when I'm at home in bed every night, especially on Tuesdays. But yeah, Aryan, do you think of this as a promotion, or are we downgrading you from player to
No, it's okay. I'm happy to get to hang out with you guys. And yeah, I mean, last week I played, so it's good to try something different this week.
How did you feel that went? How was the playing?
I feel I had some unlucky pairings, especially like being on 7 out of 10 and getting Hikari in the last round was very unexpected. That just like goes to show how strong this event is these days. I had some good positions. I could have had more points. I wasn't too satisfied, but I had fun.
But it was really an exciting day last week, because it was the end of what we know as Split 1, where we gathered the first 13 tournaments into the first split. This was the fall split, but right now we're starting a new titled Tuesday split. This is going to be the winter session.
You guys, it's starting! Title Tuesday game week 1 in the autumn split.
Wow, Sulay just blunders his rook for a knight. Hikaru now is up.
What a shocking result here. He beats Hikaru Nakamura. Jumabayev, look at that. He has lost on time.
Hans Niemann flexing because he's landed a fork, hitting the queen, hitting the rook.
Oh my god, what am I doing?
We got him. Finally, we got him. I mean, he ruined my tournament like 2 weeks ago, but finally we got the payback with the big win.
Alvarez has blundered his rook. 6 seconds. Can he deliver checkmate? The knight is coming in, and look at Triggerlov. Hans Niemann hasn't done much wrong, but somehow it's got to almost dead loss now. Can he deliver checkmate? He's got 1 second left. Checkmate. Yes!
Bortnik is absolutely in form right now.
You saw that game?
Yes.
I was hoping that you'd see that game. I was like, pull that up in the stream.
Magnus Carlsen wins, about to deliver checkmate.
That might be the most interesting game I've ever played in Title Tuesday. That was fun.
We've just finished now Split 1.
I've had some ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I don't think anybody was close, so I'll take that.
I mean, we look at all these celebratory scenes, and still the main power move for me, that was Bortnik's just silent move, like the fist pump.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's been 13 weeks already in the autumn split. Time's just flown by. I hope the players have enjoyed this revamped format, and yeah, I can't wait to get going again. Here we go.
Yeah, and this revamped format, it kind of leads to what is now the Champions Chess Tour standings. The Champions Chess Tour now being really a qualification for what is yet to come here. Because if we take a look at this, the main goal this season really is the Esports World Cup here, David.
Yeah, that's kind of the prize on the horizon, the gold pot at the end of the rainbow for the players. Magnus, of course, already qualified. He won it last year, and it was such a big success that everyone is desperate to make it there again.
But now we see that there's 6 spots from Title Tuesdays. We have 3 spots from the Speed Chess Championship, where we already have the top 4 players that we know who's going to play. But also, it is 3 players who qualify from the Chesscom Global Championships. And from this winter split, you can also qualify into the Global Championship. So really now Title Tuesday has become the qualifying ground, Aryan. Do you like that?
It's good to see the Global Championship back there. I remember that was a very big thing, like in 2022. I'm not sure if it was there in 2023, but it was very fun to watch all the top players play there. And I remember there was a very big prize fund as well. So I think many Grandmasters are happy to see that tournament back. And yeah, excited for the winter season.
Yeah, we can take a look at the standings, these Champions Chess Tour standings right now, and see what it looks like. We're not surprised by number 1, are we, David?
Yeah, he was very consistent, won a few Title Tuesdays as well. Magnus at the top of the standings. Maybe the biggest surprise for me was that there was a bit of a gap behind him. I thought at least others would be taking advantage of the fact that Magnus did miss a couple of weeks due to the birth of his son, and they'd be playing a bit more. But he does have a pretty decent lead ahead of Hikaru and Alireza Firouzja there. After that, it does get quite close, though.
And it all leads to the EWC. I mean, this is probably... Right now, if you look besides the candidates, it's the biggest thing that's going to happen in 2026. And it was a huge success last year.
Yeah, definitely. It was a huge success. I mean, we saw all the top Grandmasters going to Saudi Arabia, just trying to qualify, getting to the EWC. And we saw so many big names missing out. And I remember that final between Magnus and Alireza. It was a thriller.
Hikaru up there, Alireza Firouzja, Magnus Carlsen winning it. We were lucky enough to be there, David. It was truly breathtaking to see what chess is becoming right now.
It really was. There were fireworks both on and off the board. It was so intense. And yeah, that's definitely the thing that the players have got in the back of their minds.
So now we see the winter split that can help you qualify for this. Winner each Tuesday gets then 10 points. There's 13 game weeks in each split. The winner of each split gets a prize. Now they also get qualification to the Global Championship. This is going to be exciting. And I find one thing interesting with Title Tuesday, and that is to see how well the different countries are doing. We have some countries that we kind of know are going to be up there and competing, but are we surprised when we see it on paper here how well Poland is actually doing, how close they are to the big nations of India and USA?
Yeah, it's refreshing to see some other countries kind of staking a claim. Poland, Iran, and of course Germany with the golden generation. Vietnam as well up there. You don't often see Poland, Vietnam, and other countries like that kind of challenging in big Olympiads. But nice to see that they're represented week in, week out by young, hungry players.
And I'm going to ask you, Aryan, is it your fault that Norway is not represented on this list?
Yeah, I've actually been pretty bad at playing this season. Like last week was only my second time, so I should get it together for this season, and maybe I can help contributing to Norway getting there. I mean, we have Magnus, who seems to be doing really well every week. So if we have 2-3 Norwegians doing decent, it's possible. Very surprised to see Poland. I didn't expect it.
We're live on air now, so you can promise you're going to play more in this winter split then.
Yeah, I'll try to play next week. But it's like...
Do or do not, there is no try.
I've been just traveling so much, the time differences have sometimes been tricky. But it's a very fun tournament, so I'll definitely try to play next week.
Here we see the players who are signed up already. We see Hikaru, he's early this time around, much earlier than he usually tends to be. We have Bortnik, we have Duda, we have Zhong, Limle. There's a lot of strong names as usual. We're not quite seeing Magnus, but we have another Norwegian representative who is signed up. Lucas Ronaldo, he's going to be streaming for us today, and he is present. And let's say hi to Lucas.
I would say that the simple story is that we were 4 people who like officially started in the beginning of 2024. We were like the first employees. What I do is quite correlated with how well the company does, what we are able to deliver in a week or a month, and being able to grow chess as a sport. I mean, being a chess player and chess fan myself, I really want to see this work out. A lot of responsibility. I think everyone here at this company can feel that responsibility a bit, because we're not that many people and everyone has like 10 different jobs and responsibilities. He is very engaged in what we do. I would say it comes from him being a sports fan himself. So he wants to be able to create what other sports have, but for chess. I don't think we're quite there yet. What I want to do every time I play in Title Tuesday is to face one of the top guys. Yeah, I beat Bortnik actually once in a Title Tuesday. I drew against Sipenko once. I also played against Niemann, but he completely crushed me. So that was never even close.
Lucas is present right now, the man who usually makes a living working for Magnus Carlsen with Take, operational manager. And today he is going to be our streamer. What can we expect from Lucas today, you think, David?
Ooh, he's the heart and soul of the company. He gets so many jobs done, so I'm expecting him to put his heart and soul into the chess. And we had a word with him beforehand, me and Aryan. We were saying, just try and flag your opponents. If in doubt, even the strongest players, they're vulnerable on the clock. So Lucas, I'm hoping that he can use his underdog status as a bit of a superpower today.
Speaking of flagging, or flags, and your nationality, the English flag, can we? That was a bad way to transition, but I'm moving over towards an English opening, because if I remember correctly, English opening is what the fans want. That was such a bad transition.
I love it. It worked.
The English opening is what the fans have voted for Magnus opening up today against at least one opponent. How hard would this be for you, Aryan, to have to choose an opening to implement at one point during a game?
It's very funny. Like, I haven't heard about 2 of those openings, like the War. Have you heard about that, David? The Zaragoza opening and War opening. That's yeah. You learn something new every day. I'm a big fan of the English opening. I also play that quite a lot. You get fresh positions, which there's not so much theory, so you get like a fight from the start. This is exciting.
Right now, we can see that MVL has signed up here. Artemiev is new on the list. Sevian we didn't see before. Things are really shaping up. But we have some power rankings, David, of players who, well, I guess we can say they're in form, but they're also the powerhouses of the Title Tuesday. So who do you want to present today?
Yeah, and that's right. I've been keeping tabs on all of the players across the first split, the autumn split, and I've been updating my numbers. I mean, he's the top of the leaderboard. What can I say? He got 11 out of 11 in one of the final weeks of the autumn split, Magnus Carlsen. I started with 96. I've given him a bit of a boost there. If he doesn't do so well today, I might lower that again.
But there is no peaking right now. I mean, we have 99, but are we talking about Magnus Carlsen, like the almost 2,900 rated version of Magnus Carlsen with 98 here?
He looks good, that's all I'll say. And if he does well today, if he gets 11 out of 11 again, maybe he'll go even higher. But I think for now, he would be happy with this number. And that brings us on to Hikaru Nakamura next up, who also impressed me in the autumn split. He won a very nice tournament just a couple of weeks back, and he's looking good. He will be playing today as well. And the third player on this list, who won't be present today, he's playing in the London Chess Classic currently, but I'm excited to follow him throughout the next few weeks. Alireza Firouzja, who, of course, very, very good, world-class, but hasn't quite got as many victories as he might have wanted this last few weeks.
I'm sorry, David, you're going to be stuck with having to make 100 at one point. But right now, I think we should get ready for what is Title Tuesday action. This is the first game week of this winter split.
Oh, wow, he blunders his rook in the corner. He simply forgot his rook was attacked. 1 second. Can he hold on? No, a couple of checks, and there we go. Denis Lazovic takes the win.
And it's part of the game. This is how...
Aryan loses his rook and he's getting mated.
It's just not too slow.
Magnus has blundered a queen trade. Magnus has allowed the queens off the board. Oh no, he pre-moved and he lost his pawn. The queen didn't promote. He's got to win the white bishop now. Oh, he didn't take it. He's got to get that white bishop before it's too late. He wins The bishop, will he give checkmate? He celebrated, but will it be too early? Magnus, can he deliver, mate? 2 seconds. 1 second. He gets the win, Magnus Carlsen.
We've heard that quite a bit during these first weeks. We also see Magnus now, who's present. So is Dennis Lazovic. And we have the pairings. Osatis against Hikaru. And we have Padmini, who's playing against Magnus here.
Yeah, Padmini, she's a great player. Nice to see women represented here on the top few boards. Can she take down Magnus? That's another question. But yeah, it's always these first few rounds that present some potential banana skins, Aryan.
It's a funny king on E8. But yeah, Padmini has been on the Indian national team, played, I think, several Olympiads at least. So definitely one of the India's top woman players. Here we have the Nimzo opening. Magnus plays this bishop g5 move, which is actually supposed to be pretty sharp, and Black needs to know the theory. Let's see if Padmini knows her stuff.
Yeah, and for viewers at home, we do apologize. We will sort out those pieces very shortly. This knight we're highlighting, that's a black king. And the 2 queens in the corner for white, they were rooks. It is a Nimzo Indian, as Aryan said. What are your predictions? Do you think Magnus is going to kind of still bring his A game, still go all out in this tournament?
I mean, it's hard to expect something else from Magnus. Like over the last course of few weeks, like he's always brought his A game. Okay, last week we saw he got second behind Pranesh, but he was still up there, and that swindle in the last round against Aryan was spectacular.
And just wanted to let everyone know that we are working on getting the board back. It will be as soon as we have it ready, so we're gonna put it up as soon as possible here. But talking about the opponent here as well, I mean, she did finish actually 54 in the first Title Tuesday this first split, the game week _1. So she can deliver.
She really can, and she once gave me a big scare in a classical game. I had to grovel for a draw for a long time. She's been Padmini route. Yes, she's been part of the Indian national team for as long as I can remember, 20 odd years. So a very strong player. And we see the evaluation bars. Looks like Matthias Bluebaum slightly further down, winning. Anish Giri winning.
Already 2 completed games we can see.
Yeah, Duda.
Very fast.
Duda in big trouble though. We see him kind of slightly further down the standings there.
But we do see this quite often in the early games. I mean, there are some shady positions that the players, the favorites, go into in the beginning, and then things tend to normalize as it gets more hectic with this time format.
Yeah, especially in Blitz, like you can take very big risks in the opening, which can often give your opponent the advantage. But like, let's say we see some of the players here having a bad position, like Artemiev, the bar is like on the opponent's side, but it can be complicated and difficult to make decisions. So it can be, the practical element should not be underestimated.
And
now we have the board.
Just to mention, Move Ahead, Cena Move Ahead was in first place. He won first, so he's staying true to his name. And here we have the board. We'll get the correct player up in a second.
Yeah, here we're seeing the man who knocked me out of my World Cup journey.
your nemesis.
My nemesis, for sure. We see Magnus here having strong bishops, especially the one on e4 in the center. Looking pretty good, David.
Yeah, looking pretty good. Quick material count, it's level right now, but the power of the bishops, and I think just the weakness of the Black King. There we see Padmini. Yeah, she's maybe in a bit of trouble. I'm not sure exactly what White is doing next.
But she's spending way too much time, though. That's her main problem right now, even though the position is also difficult.
That's true.
Yeah, the problem is like the knight on b8 is still on the starting square. Like if the knight would be in a normal square, it would be more acceptable for Black. But here they had a strong move, bishop to g6, and it's hard to find a good square for that rook. We see it goes all the way to c8, but it's definitely not an ideal square.
White can start bringing more pieces into the attack at some point. This rook in the corner will maybe double up. Yeah, the white rook might move, another one might shift across. It feels like the Black King is caught in the kill zone, mating nets around it, potentially long term. And yeah, the clock, the biggest factor of all right now. White has many tempting moves. The bishop could drop back as well. Magnus, he's just looking for something a bit direct. If he doesn't find it, he'll just build up.
Yeah, he might want to like give a check with the bishop and bring the queen to g6 and hinting at some bishop f6 stuff with the bishop. So it's like the position is so good that you almost start like looking for tactics. But he can also like slowly build up his position with a move like rook to f2, just double on the f file.
Yeah, I would probably spend 5 seconds and then play rook f2 and then miss a checkmate and never get the chance again. But yeah, Magnus, he does spend a long time. He drops his bishop back. That's the first move that came to my mind, but the eval bar does drop. We were expecting maybe a check.
So he captures a pawn there in the center, and the point is that if Padmini takes back with a knight, the pin is very annoying. So she decides to move her queen instead, which is a good position. Magnus centralizes his queen to e4. And now we see that the pawn on c3 is hanging, but I definitely don't think black has time to take that. She plays rook to f8. I would do the same. Finally gets the rook back to the game. Maybe here a queen d4 is such a Magnus move, like just offering the trade of queens. Especially here, if black takes, white gets to fix their structure, like get rid of those double pawns, which would be a good scenario. She goes queen e7 instead.
Ooh, that's asking for maybe bishop h4 type moves. The queen's almost trapped. She might have to come back in the direction she came from. Yeah,
bishop h4. You could also consider queen d6, start harassing the black queen. Magnus plays a4. That's a bit of a random move, but he maybe he was worried that sometimes the pawn on a2 was hanging, so just taking care of that.
I was going to ask this earlier. Like Magnus, he could have gone for checkmate. He was just trying to grind down an endgame a pawn up. That's quite typical of him?
Yeah, especially also if you look at the time, he has like over 1 minute time advantage. So it's a very nice situation to be in. Like black really wants to play rook to d8 now, centralizing the rook. But then I think the pawn on a7 would be falling. She plays c5 instead. Yeah, queen d6 is a good move. Again, offering the trade of queens. And the problem is like if black trades, white gets a very strong passed pawn on d6, and also fixes the structure like the double pawns. So maybe Padmini should play rook to e8. Decides to take that. Yeah, now the pawn on d6 is very strong. Magnus pushes his two pass pawn.
Yeah, this feels like the type of position that will collapse eventually. She has a blockade for now, but 44 seconds, no active moves, and Magnus can just build up forever.
Yeah, not only the two pass pawns, but also white is a pawn up currently, which helps.
And let's not forget, guys, for those who have not been watching all that Title Tuesday this season, there is no time increment. I mean, 30 seconds is all she has, and that is the killer right now.
30 seconds to save this game, but Magnus has so much time in the bank, and look at the white king coming. This is the type of position, no calculation needed. Just move the rooks, maximize the bishops, push the pawns, and eventually something will give in. You'll break the blockade.
Just very practical to bring the king in the game. Like remember, guys, to in endgames always try to play with the active king. So centralizing the king makes a lot of sense here. Like without the queens, your king is basically never gonna get mated in endgames. And here Magnus is building up his position. Black wants to play the king to d7 now to blockade the white pawns. I think the issue there was white would trade the bishops and play the rook to f7. Finally gets that rook to f7, and now there's some pretty deadly threats with rook to e7. Padmini resigns with only 5 seconds left, and Magnus gets the first win.
Yeah. This was quite convincing by Magnus.
Exactly. King in the hill, that white king in the center of the board. He's the king of this type of format, Magnus Carlsen. And Padmini fought well. She didn't make any big one-move blunders, but ultimately just not able to keep up in the middle game.
How is that? I mean, if you're playing against these big names, like for example, it's hard for you guys to say being Grandmasters, but if you're an international master and you draw Magnus in the first round, do you think you're able to play your best chess?
It's very hard to not get nervous if you're Padmini and play against Magnus, because it's like such a cool opportunity. You don't really get that often. But also you're kind of playing without pressure. Like, I mean, you're losing is like the expected result, so it feels like you only have something to win. So it's a pleasant pairing in a way. Like I would enjoy playing Magnus, but this was a pretty convincing game.
a lot of people have been asking where Magnus is in the world right now. I mean, he's been on vacation, but he's leading up to go to South Africa because he's playing the freestyle tournament the week that is coming up. I know the players are going to be there in a couple of days, so they're moving there. But let's take a look here on the side where we have our streamer who's playing a fellow Norwegian, actually, Sverre.
Oh, and not good for Team Norway. It means one Norwegian will drop points, but it looks like Lucas is going to get the win. He leans back. His opponent runs out of time. Hopeless position anyway. Lucas starting with a bang.
We might play against someone
Nice start
strong.
for Lucas.
Let's see. Who else won their games? Hikaru. Did Magnus win his game? Yeah, seems like it.
Some summary
All
going
right.
on there
Yeah.
for
Good.
Lucas, who is talking about the other games. We saw the Magnus games that he was referring to, who wins. Hikaru wins, MVL wins, Serrano wins, Pranav. But do we see any upset? Look at this one, Lasavik with the draw.
Yeah, he's in the last four of the Speed Chess Championship. He's won several Title Tuesdays. He drops a draw, and more surprises further down.
Yeah, I see Andreikin to start out with the loss with against Belov.
Yeah, there's nothing to gain in round one as a favorite. Like, you're expected to win. If you drop a draw loss, then it feels like your tournament's almost over already. They'll have to go on massive winning streaks now.
But is it also a bit of a shock, not result-wise, but the fact that we see Anish Giri, who's playing in this Title Tuesday, that is fun.
Yeah, he's building up the World Rapid and Blitz.
It definitely caught my attention as well. I don't think he's played much this season. I haven't seen him. Always a fun player to follow. And now we have the round two pairings. Actually, I don't know if Magnus is playing the Jacobian, I think, but like if he's playing Aram Jacobian, that's a very tough pairing. Maybe he's playing. Sorry,
the Armenian kid is
he's playing Aram Jacobian, or
I believe it is Aram.
But Aram is very high rated. I think it's like 3,000.
Yeah,
is he already playing 3,000 in the second round?
Otherwise, it would be Menua Jacobian.
That would make more. That would make more sense, I think.
It is Menua.
Yeah, Menua 2800. Yeah, we have two Jacobians in the tournament playing from Armenia. The other one, Aram, is like a very strong Grandmaster. This game, Magnus has black. We gonna probably see a.
Jacobian here is a young kid. He's 17 years old.
It's actually called the Magnus Gambit. What Magnus is playing here, he started playing it like in 2017, if I remember correctly, with this A6 system, trying to like kind of avoid theory from early on, and he won some nice games. And after 2017, it became very, very popular. Like a lot of Grandmasters started playing it. I think. Did Niels Grandelius made a course on it?
He did, yeah. And it's been played a lot just in recent months as well in big games. The idea is to keep Black's knight at home flexible and kind of wait for the white bishop to choose a square before Black tries to trade it off the board. And there we go. It's one of his favorite pawn structures, this one, Aryan. Magnus, he loves the Carlsbad pawn structure with either color, white, black. He loves just maneuvering around, no immediate attacks for either side.
Really suits Magnus' style, just like keeping the pieces and slowly trying to outmaneuver the opponent. Like you have a slight imbalance in the structure, and it's not too forced, which really suits Magnus' style. And here, I don't think White has played the most critical against this line. Like usually, if you get the bishop to f5 with Black, you are pretty comfortable if you get to trade those off. And here, both sides have castles. Black has no weaknesses. Like White plays his move a3, trying to play b4, which is a typical plan in these positions, trying to play for the a4, b5 minority attack.
But Magnus now plays on the other side of the board, reminding Jacobian here that, okay, the White King could become a bit of a target, or maybe Black's going to go on the minority attack and try to just loosen up White's pawn center.
Are you surprised by the move f5, David?
Yeah, I was a bit. I'm not surprised by b4, b5. This is quite typical. And the Black Knight has great access into a beautiful outpost. But I guess we're both surprised, Aryan, because Magnus normally isn't that hasty. Normally he builds up a bit more before throwing pawns forward.
Magnus is generally very careful about placing his pawns. But I guess here you could make the case that it's very hard for White to take advantage of that e5 square. Like the knight on d7 is always kind of taking care of that. Knight c8 might look like a very mysterious moves, but generally in these kinds of positions, the ideal square for the knight is on d6, where it's hinting towards e4 and c4. So very often you go from c8 to d6, which is like a good square. But here you might just go with that knight to b6 and c4 as well. We have a maneuvering game, but Magnus has 1 minute more on the clock, which is definitely a nice advantage.
Yeah, it's all about the squares here, the outposts for the knights, and this one unchallengeable for white. And likewise, white has one, but for now it's covered. And okay, pawn sacrifice from Jacobian.
And Magnus plays very fast and decides to not take it. A bit surprised.
I mean, you have to be a little bit cheeky with your Jacobian when your online nickname is Wise Guy. I mean, he has to put in some sacrifices here.
Yeah, pretty fly for a wise guy. Jacobian, yeah, he's doing well. I quite liked his pawn sacrifice. I think Magnus didn't take it because the white knight would have got access to d4. There would have been a very quick attack on black's backward pawn here. But the white knight going the other way round now, and
it's playing well. The knight is on a very good square on d3. Like, black has his trumps, but white has so as well, and the knight is well placed on c5. Like, black can open up the a file, but white is very much ready with a rook on a1. Maybe black will try to double on the a file now.
So okay, he actually closes it. I was going to say he could double by lifting his rooks across, and Jacobian, we see him now magically appear. He's very much trying to lock up this board. And,
trying to build a fortress, but we all know that Magnus doesn't believe in fortresses, so
exactly.
We'll see.
Slightly better for black according to the evaluation bar. 1 minute up on the clock as well. And this is the problem with doubled pawns. Always some pressure here. It's tying down all of white's pieces. Magnus just needs a second front, something else to attack, and that might just tip white over the edge.
I mean, the problem is, like, if you're trying to build a fortress with 1 minute less on the clock, it's not necessarily gonna help you if you can't get flagged in the end. So plays the move g3, trying to stop the black queen from activating to the h4 square. I like this move by Magnus, g5, just trying to open up the position a bit. Like, all these other pieces are ideally placed. The rooks are double. The knight is on a good square on c4, so g5 makes sense. But Aryan, Jacobian is fighting well.
Yeah, been very impressed by him so far. Hanging in there, but Magnus now, he's trying to sneak his queen in and behind. He's trying to sneak in via the right side. Okay, that square's covered, but it looks like a big mistake. Ooh, Magnus doesn't take advantage. Maybe there was some tactics there. But still looking very, very strong for black. What is the winning blow? It feels like there's something in the air.
Yeah, something feels... Maybe you could play some f4, just trying to take care of the pins.
Now he's setting it up. This move would take advantage of the e-file pin.
Yeah, white would really want to take that pawn on f5, but the problem is, like, the pawn on e3 would be hanging in the end there. White drops material. Queen h3, it's a very annoying move for... Maybe you can take on f1 and knight d2, wins material.
Oh, he does it.
Does go for that, wins the exchange, Magnus.
He's going to do it, and I'm trying to get rid of these arrows. Sorry, everyone. The board is...
Jacobian is very upset. I think he forgot about the pawn on h3, maybe.
But, yeah, maybe he thought he could just give up the rook for knight and hold a fortress there. But
yeah, I mean, the knight is looking pretty good on c5. Now, the second pawn is dropping on b4, although maybe you can try to trap the knight, like knight takes b4, rook b1, but hard to imagine. You can probably go h3 there. You're gonna push the pass pawn now, Magnus. Goes rook a8. Is that a pawn is gonna be decisive. He can just push now a3 probably, but
wow,
knight a2.
Just wanted to add here. I'm looking down the list of all the different games. I was about to say there's no surprises, and then I saw our streamer against Bortnik, who, I mean, Lucas is in an amazing position right now against Bortnik.
Wow.
And for those following the stream, that is very exciting. We're going to see how that went after we're done with the Magnus game here. But
Lucas is actually completely winning.
Yeah, but he still has more than a minute on his clock as well. So that's going to be interesting against, hey, a Title Tuesday performer in Alexander Bortnik.
Bortnik is extremely tricky. So but it doesn't seem like it's an easy position to swindle in. Very, very cool if Lucas manages to.
Come on, can they then finally accept that there's something wrong with Magnus' streaming room, or that whoever sits there is getting some special kind of powers?
Yeah, I didn't get that power, so I'm not sure what you're talking about, Sverre.
Yeah. Well, we're looking at Magnus here completely dominating against Jacobian right now, and main problem, as I keep saying, the position is obviously tied to the clock, but the clock is what looks like the real killing blow, even though it is a one position here for black.
Yeah, he can resist for a little longer. He's threatening some knight forks. He's trying to get his knight up to the f7 square to give a check, but 2 pawns down, and it's 2 pawns that actually work very well against knights. The A and H pawns. The white rook is active though, but there we go. That might be the clincher. Magnus now getting his king off the back rank. The A pawn is about to promote, and there we go. Result, and we should jump over.
We should jump over quickly to the Ronaldo game. Are there any tricks left here for Bortnik?
I mean, Lucas does also have more time on the clock, but the only thing I would be worried about is the clock here still. Like Bortnik, very known for his flagging skills.
Shall we try to hear what Lucas has to say?
Let's do it.
Thing is, yeah, exactly. He's gonna try to do something, so I'm gonna allow the draw if that's what he wants, but I'm pretty sure he's going to try something.
Should he allow the draw?
Lucas is winning on the board. We know that. We see the evaluation bar, but I think he was nervous about the clock situation. He gives up his rook for knight, but now he has 6 extra seconds and an extra pawn. Aryan, is he going to do it? Is he going to win this?
I'm just like seeing Bortnik so fast in these kind of situations that I don't think he's going to be able to flag him. But I think draw is still a very good result. He was outplaying Bortnik for the most part of that game. So
let's hear what he has to say.
Not great by me to not be able to win that position, but I would probably have been flagged if I tried to do anything else here. So it's good just to play fast. But what could I have done earlier on there?
Do we have an answer for him?
He could have done a few things. I think if he kept his 5-second time advantage, if he kept his rook instead of the knight, probably would have won the game. But I can understand the nerves, and Bortnik has this reputation, this aura, as Aryan said, like super speedy, super tricky. I think it's still a good result. Good result.
But it is one of the areas where I feel that chess players differ so much from each other, and chess differs so much from other sports at times. That is the pragmatism of actually taking draws in one positions like this, where the nerves kind of get to you, where you're, okay, I'll settle.
Yeah, definitely. Like compared to other sports, like you cannot just like tie the game like that. But in this situation, I don't know if it was like a three-time repetition in the end. But Bortnik had this annoying knight going back and forward. Like if it wasn't for that, Lucas would have won that one. But still a great result.
Wow, Navarra against Hikaru here. That's going to be an interesting matchup. While we have Paklesa against Magnus.
You already see the GMs playing in the third round. It's getting very interesting. Navarra.
This is a strong round 3 matchup, though.
Yeah, Navarra is. I don't think he's like known for being one of those like regular Title Tuesday players, but I've definitely seen him have some good blitz results before, so he should not be underestimated.
The strongest David in the world, David Navarra.
Don't even go there, Mr. David Howell.
And okay, we get an opening. It is the Bogo Indian, and that means that here Hikaru, he's willingly doubled a couple of pawns. He's got doubled B pawns. He controls some squares though, especially with this one. Takes some space. And it means it's going to be a long strategic game. So interesting, nothing too sharp. No King's Indian, no big attacks. Hikaru looks like he's in the zone right now. And
that pawn on b4 looks very weird. And it's also doubled. But the point is that it stops the white knight from developing to c3. And it's kind of annoying because it takes many squares. So that's why white plays the move a3 to try to trade it off.
And here we go. The white knight is going to come round and try and put more pressure on this pawn in the near future. Navarra, though, keeping it very tight, very solid at the back here.
I like how this has gone for black. Like, you can play bishop f5 here or bishop g4. It looks like black has equalized from the opening and has good squares for his pieces. I think Hikaru is pretty happy.
But at the same time, Navarra managed to speed up because it's always dangerous. Even though it's so early in the game, when you fall behind 25, 30 seconds, you have to speed up. Otherwise, you're gone at the end part of the game.
Exactly, especially against Magnus, especially against Hikaru and some of the other kind of speed specialists. You have to keep time in the bank. And we see an interesting dance between the bishops. Is that tempting fate? Is that asking Hikaru to repeat, and they go for a draw? Navarra is calling Hikaru's bluff. Hikaru can do it one more time, move away, and then decide what to do next, or he might defend the bishop. There we go. He does move back and says, no draw for you. I think in classical he might have been tempted, but in Title Tuesday you have to win as many games as possible, even against super strong grandmasters like Navarra.
Yeah, the bishop on f5 there, stopping the white knight from potentially going to d3. And now he decides to put the pawn on e4 finally. And this pawn push h5 is very like typical in these positions. You're trying to go for some h4, h3 and create play on the king side. I still like black's position because it's not easy for white to find ideas, while black is just simply pushing that pawn.
Just a little bit of a warning. We're going to pull up Hikaru, see what he has to say, but he was slightly delayed on the sound. Oh, it does seem we have a little bit of problems getting Hikaru right now.
We'll get him at some point, but there's a threat in the meantime. Knight takes pawn due to a pin along the A file. So I'm expecting the black rook to move. But
yeah, where would you go with that rook? Maybe to c8?
It's the first move that comes to mind. Navarra might then just step his queen up and try to put some pressure on this pawn, this doubled isolated pawn. Hikaru doesn't look too happy. He's 20 seconds down. Navarra's doing a great job. The nicest guy in chess, they call him. But on the board, he's anything but nice. He's a killer. And here we go. Okay, temporary pawn sacrifice from Hikaru. He's asking for a capture here, and he's going to argue that he might win that pawn back in the near future.
Yeah, if you take that pawn, I think his idea is that he wants to play a rook c8 and claim that the c file has opened up. That's why Navarra decides to keep the c file close, puts the pawn on c5, and we have this mysterious move, rook to b8. I think at this point he just really wanted to move away from that a file where knight takes b4 was threatening.
Which one of you guys saw Zoolander, by the way? Remember the blue steel look?
Yeah, he's doing it.
Right in the freeze as well.
He doesn't turn to the right. Oh, there we go. It's back. And yeah, he's pouting, posing. He knows he's got an imposing position. But okay, b6 might be missed.
Yeah, it seemed like a miss based on Navarra's body language. He seems surprised after b6. Suddenly we see the rook on b8 doing a fantastic job. Yeah, that pawn could not be taken because the queen was undefended. Now Hikaru decides to play h3, which is also very typical in these positions because in some endgames the pawn on h3 can actually be very annoying. Like the white king can be in a mating cage. Now Hikaru can maybe trade queens and take the pawn on b2.
Yeah, he's calculating, can he get away with this? White's idea is that there are some positions where he can take the knight, but for now the white knight was also under attack, and Navarra's blundered apparently, brings his knight forward. He's trying to give up that knight for his own knight here.
The bishop gets trapped.
Oh, the bishop gets trapped. How to catch that bishop? Is he going to take this knight, allow a rook to capture this one, maybe move his king up first?
Yeah,
that's
not that easy. Not that easy, because then the rook could sacrifice on the bishop and get that bishop out. So Hikaru has to be precise here. He could also consider maybe to just move his knight up to g4. Like he doesn't have to take the knight on f3. Yeah. But the reason the bar is on black side here is the bishop on h1 is basically trapped and not really getting out. Goes bishop d3. I didn't think this one was that clear because white can sacrifice the exchange and take the pawn on f3.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, white might get checkmated on the back rank if this rook moves away from attack. Wherever it shifts, Black's other rook might come in, and there's going to be an invasion. These 2 pawns, they keep the white king totally locked. Like you said, a mating net. And this is really, really awkward for Navarra, who might be forced to gamble. But taking here, there's still some back rank checkmate problems. The other rook is going to come and cause some nasty, nasty threats. This is totally winning now for Hikaru Nakamura. And there we go, checkmate is threatened. Hard to escape that one.
And while we are following this game, just wanted to let you know that Magnus is doing quite well against the Pole Pakleza right now. He's in a winning position as well with white pieces, has twice the amount of time.
And yeah, all the time in the world will not save Navarra in this game. He's been forced to throw away his bishop just to get his king out. And now a full rook down. White's pawn is kept under lock and key. There we go. It's about to drop next move. We might see a result. There we go. Hikaru takes the win in round 3. Very impressive game there to win as Black. He took a chance when it was given to him.
Well,
I'm going to have to draw probably if I put the rook on d2.
Well, we got the sound from Hikaru now, but he takes the win here. Magnus is also done right now. I did see our friend Lucas, who is streaming right now. He was good on the board, but bad on time, which is often not a good situation to be in this format. But look at this one. Anish Giri playing now against Balle, the Brazilian.
And wow, Jedi Anish here, looking looking very, very focused.
I've actually played against Valle before in Brazil. He's a strong junior player, and I've seen him beating some Grandmasters before, so he should definitely not be underestimated. Anish here trying to improve his bishop, which looked very sad on g2. Maybe he wants to go put that on c4 to trade it off.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know Anish so well, Aryan. You've worked with him. You've spent a lot of time with him. How do you think he's feeling? Do you think he's stressed, low on time here?
I think he's feeling pretty good because Black is overexpanded his king, but I really don't see Black getting an attack here on the white king. And right now we also saw the pawn on e4 dropping, so it seems like the position is opening up, but the Black king is definitely in more trouble than the white king. G takes f4 here, offering the trade of queens. But I like white's pieces more than black's pieces. Especially the rook on a7 is very awkwardly placed. Mm-hmm. But we see the time situation is pretty dramatic.
Yeah, and here we go. The queens did leave the board. Anish creating that pressure along the third rank. Now swings his rook across. That's a check. The white knights look really, really strong. Where to go with the black king?
You have to be careful where you go with the black king, because if you go to h8, now you can take on d5. And there are some forks in the position.
Ooh, that knight had to be removed before it was able to deliver a nasty, nasty fork. And now he's still a pawn. Well, he's not a pawn up, actually. It's level material, but it feels like he is because this pawn is so strong. He's trying to push it forward. But this might be the best position Black's had since we joined the game.
Yeah, now rook to e8 doesn't look that clear.
He's trying to swap off those knights.
It's all going to come down to the clock. Like Anish has 6 seconds more, which might be the deciding factor.
Exactly, and he's got some nice checks. There we go. He forks the black king and rook. He's about to deliver checkmate, and Anish gets the win. Sustained pressure eventually paying off.
Unfortunately, the time got too drastic at the end for our friend Lucas, who's doing the streaming, who lost his game. We can take a look at some of the results here. We see that Sverre is still struggling a bit here. Mulklikovsky. Bluebaum is also struggling here. Sam Sevian is having problems. At the same time, time is the real killer at this stage of the games.
Really is. Seconds left for all the players, all the games still remaining. Sverre, can he flag his opponent? He's up slightly on time. Bluebaum is dead lost on the board, but clockwise.
Very good on the clock, actually.
Very, very good. And it looks like we'll get results confirmed that very, very shortly.
I do believe that Bluebaum is going to win his because he has 20 seconds on the clock, and Singh, or Sahib Singh, has barely any time at all.
And you're right, Bluebaum gets the win from a very difficult position. And ultimately, Sverre, that game was a draw. Neither side wanted to take a risk. They both had about 2 seconds left when the position repeated itself.
One game still being played against Hovakiman and Mesquita, and that one is also done now. That means we have the next draws here. And look at this. Wow. Look at this game one. Both the three first games are all standouts.
2 candidates.
Yeah.
And Hikaru smiling. He knows it's a preview for March, April 2026, where they'll be facing each other for
Cyprus.
Yeah, in Cyprus for a chance to meet Gukash. Esipenko qualifying from the World Cup, of course, got the bronze medal there, and Hikaru qualifying via rating.
Hikaru seems to really enjoy his color system these days, which is like when White puts upon on E3 early. He played it against me last week. I thought I had a good position at some point, but I ended up losing that game. And here it's almost a symmetry actually, but Black has the bishop on E7 instead of D6.
Just to summarize these 3 first games, because it was crazy here. Andrei Esipenko against Hikaru Nakamura, Magnus Carlsen against Anton Korobov, and MVL against Liam Le. That is quite the three first boards on just round number 3.
I know that Magnus...
round number 4.
I know that Magnus has a lot of respect for Anton Korobov. I remember I played against Korobov a few years ago in the Vikan Z tournament, and I asked Magnus what he thinks about him and like what I should focus on, and he said like he's very dangerous. So
he didn't give any actual advice. Just
he just said like, yeah, you just hope he has a bad day.
That is such a detrimental advice to get from your friend, because it's like he's saying, "Ooh, he's gonna blow you off the board here."
And actually, it happened. I got blown off the board, so not pleasant memories there. It's gonna be an exciting game. I remember when Magnus won his. I don't know if it was his first World Blitz Championship in 2014 in Dubai. He beat Korobov in the last round.
Mm-hmm.
What do we think about Esipenko's time management so far?
Yeah, it's okay. I would say it's not like it's not going to be terminal probably, because this is quite a tense position, and he has had to make some difficult decisions already. If these central pawns disappear and White doesn't generate anything here, I'm thinking maybe with the 2 bishops on the long diagonals, then it could just fizzle out towards becoming a symmetrical position. And the main thing is to survive now. White's knight is threatening to jump in, trapping this rook.
Curious to see what the evaluation is.
Hikaru is just very good at like slowly moving around, trying to just like keep some 20-30 seconds extra on the clock, and that will like play a big factor in the end. Like I've played so many games against him, and he just wants to like keep the tension. Very good at that. And here the rook gets to c4. Like Black has doubled on the d file, but there's no entry squares for a Black rook.
We finally got sound on Hikaru. I just warn you guys, it's a little bit out of sync, but let's listen in and see what he has to say. And while we're waiting for him to speak, look at this rating, 34-02.
Still probably kind of okay, but
yeah, what a rating! What a player! Pre-candidates tournament, going head to head.
Queen A8 is a nice move. Very typical in these positions. Like it
goes Queen A8
shattering the bishop and the queen.
So
like the point is like the knight cannot go to E5 now because the pawn on G2 would be hanging. So I like the way Esipenko has played this position. It's not that easy for White to improve their position either.
Yeah, Hikaru has ideas of swinging his rook across to go for a mating threat. Due to the fact these bishops are so strong, but it's not quite working yet. He doesn't want to commit to that plan. Possibly he's trying to figure out what happens if Black's knight comes into the center now. But it's just such a tense position, symmetrical almost, but so many pieces still on this board that tactics are in the air. And there we see Esipenko rocking back and forth as he tries to come up with a move. Now I'm starting to get worried about his clocks. Now I'm starting to think, okay, 45-second difference against Hikaru Nakamura when you're the one on the defensive could prove decisive.
He's an Arsenal fan. He's used to fighting back.
He needs that extra time.
Where do you go with a Black knight now? It's a bit tricky. He goes A6.
Ooh, counterattack.
Now you have to calculate a lot. Like you can take the knight, but Black takes on B5, which looks good for Black. So I think Hikaru is going to move the knight away.
I'm wondering how sharp Andrei Esipenko can be here, because I remember last week when he qualified for the candidates, he was asked what is he going to do to celebrate this win. And his answer was he's going to get drunk and he's going to stay drunk.
But he has had 1 week to recover from the hangover.
That's a long session. 1 week. Probably he's had a little bit of time.
Right now, though, Hikaru is wasting his time advantage.
And wow, big decision from Hikaru to give up one of his bishops there. This must be connected with a very forcing variation, but maybe a miscalculation. And look at Andrei Yasipenko's eyes widen.
I think he wants c6 here. Bishop takes c6, queen c2. But I think after c6, black can just take the white rook. He doesn't have to take back the pawn.
Ooh.
That may be what he has missed.
If eyes could say, what was that move? I think Yasipenko just showed that.
It's not a good sign when you sacrifice something and you think on the next move. Usually you have your follow-up ready. Goes rook f4 now. Doesn't look too thrilled, Hikaru. Like, so now you have to be careful with black, because if you take back the pawn on c5, queen c2 is actually a devastating threat where you can't defend against the mating threat without dropping the bishop on f6.
Have you guys noticed how we don't really need an Evo bar if Yasipenko is playing? It's the further forward he is in his chair, the better his position is.
Exactly, and he senses that there's something here. There's a way for black to defend. It is difficult, as Aryan says, just psychologically, because it does look like white's kind of going all in on the king side right now. But if he's calm, if he finds a way, without spending too much more time, he should be able to emerge with a healthy position. And no, it looks like a big blunder from Andrei Yasipenko. What is the killer blow?
I think I thought about that move, but I thought it doesn't work because of knight takes e5.
Let's hear what Hikaru has to say about that.
Wait, what? King h8, queen h. King h8, bishop f5, rook g8, queen h5, rook g7, g2. There should be a way to be winning here, I feel like.
Ooh.
Intuition is pretty good with these top GMs, isn't it?
Yeah, he knows, he senses it, he smells it. I think he was talking about variations starting with rook takes bishop, because then he wanted to move his knight out of the way and get a queen check, or bring the queen to h5. The end goal is to land the queen on this square, on h7.
Yeah, maybe take on f6 and knight h4 is what he wants to do. But then maybe you can play bishop e4 with black.
He better get this right, considering how much time he's spending.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's also ideas of, oh, there we go, either moving the knight to the edge of the board, maybe taking this pawn. There we go, he does take it just to get a queen check. And that would also pick up the rook in a lot of variations.
Very accurately executed by Hikaru. Yeah, this actually seems to just win for white. Like if you take back the knight, you're just going to check on g4 and take the rook. And black is not in time to eliminate the pawn on g2 because of some queen f5 there in the end.
Yeah. Extremely complicated with Magnus and Krogh as well. It's jumping up and down on the evaluation bars. Right now it looks like Magnus is taking a bit of an initiative in that game.
Yeah, and we'll see that variation that Aryan mentioned here. The whole variation plays out, and white's queen and bishop, the battery along this diagonal is just decisive. No good way to block. Stop the checkmate threat. If the black pawn had stepped forward, then the bishop would have been no longer protected. So here, does Hikaru have more than a draw? That is the question. He can keep checking with his queen. And he was looking at this. You've got to be careful. If the king goes back, you do not want to come and grab this bishop, because the black rook would come and skewer the queen and king. But he just happily moves his rook. Looks very happy, Hikaru. What has he seen? He grabs a pawn.
Must be winning. Isn't this just checkmate? Yeah, it's just checkmate.
And I mean, I'm having pretty good timing it when I'm pulling up Hikaru right now, because he said exactly what you're saying, and we see the withdrawal and we see the win here from Hikaru. Yasipenko saw it very clearly and didn't even want to bother finishing up. But here, Bluebaum against Book.
It's all about the candidates, and Yasipenko losing to Hikaru may be a psychological blow. Bluebaum, of course, will be in the candidates too, but one of the underdogs there, and this position looks bad for white. Queen can sometimes fight two rooks, but here the two rooks are stable, they coordinate. Black has also got two extra pawns, and it doesn't look like many checks available for the white queen.
Yeah, but black only has 24 seconds.
Ooh.
So maybe Bluebaum can create something with that time advantage. But David is right that with the situation on the board, black is objectively speaking completely winning. But then he actually allows some checks. It was a strange decision to take that h5 pawn.
For all the chess lovers out there who's getting to know Bluebaum now that he's a candidate, how good is he? How much of a stir can he make at the candidates, you think?
He's very good. I think whether he can beat the elite players is the question. He knows how to draw against them. He showed that in the Grand Swiss. He showed it here, saving a very difficult position. But yeah, he will need a bit of luck, but he's the underdog. People will be going hard against him, and if he can counterattack, he's got a chance, I would say.
We can take some look at the results here. Aryan, any surprises to you?
I mean, Martirosyan losing against Move Ahead is a slight surprise, not a super big surprise, but Martirosyan is a very strong Blitz player. I remember he finished third in the World Blitz Championship a few years ago. So seeing him lose is a bit of a surprise. We see Giri losing against Demchenko. Certainly not an expected result, but Demchenko also like a strong 2600 GM, so it can happen. And we already have like oppositions where 2 GMs are playing, so yeah, it can happen. Or Bortnik also loses.
Yeah, there's 11 players on a perfect score so far, and a lot of American flags I'm seeing on the right of our screens there. A couple of Polish flags as well. Poland, we know how good they are. And it looks like we might be in for some big matches. Magnus, Hikaru, they're still on 100%.
Absolutely. And I mean, the players will now have a short break, so I think we're going to sum up the action so far.
Here we go.
I mean, it's building up to be a great Title Tuesday here. We have the names that we're hoping for, especially Magnus and Hikaru, because they do create that little extra spice when they're both with 4 out of 4, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously all looking forward to seeing that matchup. Usually happens later on, like round 7, 8, maybe, but it's hyping up. Surprised to not see Pranesh in this list, who won the last week's Title Tuesday. I don't know if maybe he lost a point in one of the first rounds.
We're looking at the game 4 matchups here, even the game 3 matchups. This is when it starts. I mean, you kind of have 2 easy games if you're a top GM, then it gets really tough.
It really does. And usually you need to kind of build up that head of steam somehow. Once you lose one game, you just feel like it's not your week and you kind of lose hope, you lose the energy, and especially in such a speedy time format, you need to be all in. So the longer you can stay on 100%, the longer you can kind of keep beating these Grandmasters, the more you believe. And after you've played the first 2 kind of GM opponents, you start to forget. Everyone's strong at this point. You win, lose, you'll play a beast anyway, so you might as well get that win.
And there's been a lot of great moments already within these first 4 rounds, but let's take a look at one of the coolest moments so far today. And this is Hikaru against Navarra.
Yeah, what a game this was. Hikaru winning against a super strong former Super Grandmaster in David Navarra, winning with black as well. And it was here that he stopped. He had a bit of time and actually down on the clock here, Hikaru, but he calculated really accurately. This was a blunder by Navarra, but it was a bit of a hidden idea to take this knight to allow these doubled pawns. And there we go. We see it's all about this black bishop coming in to win the white rook. There were back rank checkmating ideas with the 2 black rooks teaming up, and ultimately he won a piece and won the game, Hikaru Nakamura.
And that means that was today's action replay, and that was by our presenting partner, Lovable. And right now we can see that we have 11 players who are scoring the full amount of points so far. You've been in these situations and you travel the world, both of you guys have traveled the world playing the biggest tournaments. Do you still feel nerves when you're on a top score at the Title Tuesday at this stage of the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly feel some nerves, but it's too early. Like if it would be after round 8 and I would be on top of the leaderboard, I would certainly be more nervous. It's cool to see 3 Americans with full score, like all of them super strong. Sevion and Jeffrey Zhang, like I've played against them so many times in Title Tuesdays, and they're so dangerous. It's nice to see an Iranian up there as well. Sina Munavet, Blitz Shark for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Muvahed is of course the correct pronunciation. We like to say that he's moving ahead, but
he's seen a move ahead.
It's quite the list, and I mean it just strikes me whenever you have these amazingly large fields that once you have the top scorers, it is the exact names that you would expect to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow the consistency, that's what sets them apart. Week in, week out, they deliver. They just expect to win. They kind of make it happen. And yeah, occasionally we see a kind of fresh name, and that's always nice. But usually they do say the cream rises to the top.
Not too many fresh names today, Aryan.
Yeah, not too many. Maybe Demchenko is a fresh name. I don't think I've seen him too much like dominating in Title Tuesdays. But I mean, he beat Gary in the last round, so it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, Demchenko super strong over the board, of course. Very creative player. Started playing for Slovenia recently, and yeah, he could cause a surprise or two. He's got a very well-defined opening repertoire.
And Demchenko has only played 3 of these Title Tuesdays in the past, and he's done okay. He's been around top 30, top 40 type player, so he's up there. But you're right, he's definitely not been all the way up top. But would that be a dream pairing right now? Do you think for the other players here, is that who they're aiming for?
I mean, if you compare it with the other players on that list, I think that would be a very welcome pairing. So yeah, I'm curious who Magnus is going to get. I think based on the ratings, he's certainly going to get someone a bit higher rated. Like he might get even Jeffrey or something. So I think it's going to be a super strong opposition in the 5th round.
We're not that long from getting the pairings. I think we're about 10-15 seconds away from seeing who's going to be playing whom right now. Still having a look at this list, we see also a lot of great players with 3.5 points at the moment. We had players like Yesipenko, the recent candidate who just lost out to Hikaru, who's at 3 points. And that's, at this point, it's possible to come back from 3 points as well.
Yeah, of course. I think the average score, the winning score for the tournaments has been around 9.5. So they will need a winning streak at some point, but you can still afford a draw here or there, dropping a few points. And wow, what pairings we have yet again.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if there's one pairing you do not want to have if you're Magnus, and you know that there is some ratings that make sure that you don't have a player like Hikaru, for example, you don't want Duda.
For sure not. I mean, Magnus has a lot of respect for Duda. Duda is someone who has won the World Cup. Has he? I think he has won the World Blitz, hasn't he? Or I think maybe at least top 3 he finished.
Definitely been second behind Magnus. I remember they both went on like 8-game winning streaks, and Duda was winning everything, but Magnus was always slightly.
Yeah, certainly player has won Title Tuesday many times before, so this is a top matchup. We have the Catalan opening. Magnus aims for this like slightly unusual move, Knight A3, but still seen on some top level games. I remember I was the second for Anish Giri once in the Vicon Z tournament, and Magnus played this Knight A3 move with success there.
Jan Krzysztof Duda, he has a 2nd place, he has a 3rd place from the 1st split. Now would be a good time to up that by 1 and getting a 1st place in the 2nd split.
Yeah, it feels like it's a matter of time. He's so talented, Duda. I will also mention for all of our viewers at home, Magnus has fulfilled his pledge. He's a man who keeps his word. He always keeps those promises. He played C4 on move 1, even though it did transpose to the Catalan later.
But it doesn't do it against the lower rated players. It does it against Duda. It's like he wants to rub it in.
Exactly, save the best.
Yeah.
Just for those wondering, we had a poll where the viewers was going to choose the opening for Magnus, and they chose English opening.
Yeah. It's a very flexible opening. That's the beauty of the English. You can kind of bring it towards default openings. You can make it a reti. Here we see Duda looking very chilled, but I'm not sure I would be so relaxed about his position. It feels like
got a beard. He's sporting a different look today, Duda.
Yeah, for sure. Magnus bringing the rook to the center here. Like Black generally wants to put that light squared bishop on b7 to control some important square, but right now he has to be a bit careful because the pawn on c5 is hanging at the moment because of the pin against the queen.
Yeah, so he's most likely going to move his queen or block that line. There we go. He moves his knight on over. Probably it's headed in this direction if it gets kicked, if it gets hit.
Maybe Magnus will just, I was about to say, capture that pawn on c4. So the material is equal, but Magnus has this awkward double pawns on the a file, which is not an ideal structure for sure, but at the same time, he does have the bishop pair, and right now has some annoying threats like knight to g5, threatening mate on the king side, and he can go for it now if he wants to. Knight g5, probably Duda is going to answer that with knight f6.
Yeah, And this is the move Aryan is expecting right now. Shake of the head, though, from Duda. It is starting to get a bit more complicated. White now has ideas of pushing forward in some variations, pushing this pawn.
Yeah, or maybe even like taking twice on d5 can be calculated.
Okay, taking this knight twice, so that if the black knight does ever get distracted and move away, the white queen can swoop in. It's getting very, very sharp potentially. It's kind of bubbling. Magnus is spending a bit of time. It is quite a high responsibility position, because if he doesn't find any threats or kind of mating attacks, Magnus, he could find himself being a bit worse due to the fact that black does have this very powerful pass pawn. Black's controlling the kind of queenside right now. Half the board is black's. He needs to find something on the other half, Magnus.
Black really wants to get that knight to the b4 square on the next move, which would be quite annoying, because it's not, you don't really want to move your queen away from this this h7 diagonal.
Something seems to have gone a little bit wrong in the opening for Hikaru at the side. Sam Sevian has a minute up on the clock, and he's got an almost +2 eval right now.
Wow, Hikaru Nakamura in big, big trouble. Let's see if Sam Sevian can hold on to that advantage. Suddenly, Magnus, though, is the one to get the advantage. Duda should perhaps have been trying to stop that white knight jumping in. It was a difficult choice. If that knight had been captured, white's bishop and queen would have lined up. There we see a glimpse of Magnus for the first time today. Doesn't look too enthused, but he does have a small advantage now. How to capitalize on it. The white knight is super strong, but at the moment it's kind of hitting thin air.
That little glimpse did not look encouraging for Magnus fans.
Didn't look too happy there, but his position looks good. Like the knight on d6 does a great job.
He's on vacation. I don't know if he's as committed as he should be. And the freeze didn't necessarily help either.
Yeah, there is such a thing as being too relaxed, kind of being in holiday mode, not having the same kind of hunger to find the best moves as usual. But okay, nice move there from Magnus. He's trying to get in behind. Challenge of the rooks, and the back rank is slightly weak, so when Magnus recaptures, big, big threat. Okay, blocked by Duda. And who do you pick here, Aryan? The bar's in the middle, but whose position do you think is easier to play as the clocks tick down?
Good question. I mean, black has this very annoying pass pawn on c4, and if he gets to push that to c3, it can be very dangerous for white. And currently the b file is blocked. Like, I mean, right now I would actually pick Duda's position. I think like he can maybe play queen e5. It feels a bit easier for black to play at the moment because of the pass pawn on c4. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I quite like the long-term features in a position, which means that you can just go into survival mode, and if you do survive the next few moves, then you're doing well long-term. I think short-term I would feel the pressure for Magnus, trying to create something, trying to win something before it's a bit too late. So maybe Duda's contemplating taking this pawn, but there would be some issues if the queens do disappear from the board. The white bishop will move out the way at the end, and the white rook will try and come in. But Duda frowning. Suddenly, the fact that he's burning so much time means that in practical terms, possibly this could be a turning point. We have seen it several times throughout the autumn split earlier today as well. A long think is often accompanied by a mistake, but no, Duda does play a decent move. And now he has to retreat his knight to block the white rook. And what's his plan after this knight is captured?
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario. Like you can capture the knight twice. Is Duda banking on the fact that he can just push the pawn? But I'm not sure. Like there are some back rank issues as well. If he's actually in time to push the pawn, Magnus goes for it. It'll be interesting to see what Duda has up his sleeve.
Wow, this next move is critical. Duda probably needs to be quite accurate. I think you're right. Like he might just have to give this bishop up. He has to create some room for his king. This is just the bigger threat. Yeah,
probably he's gonna maybe play a move like h5 just to create some air for his king to not get back rank mated, and then after white captures their bishop, just push his pawn.
This is a really interesting game.
Fascinating. Technically kind of an endgame now, but it's all about the tactics. He's about to be a piece down. That is a piece sacrifice from Duda.
Yeah. I actually don't see how white stops that pawn though. If you take the bishop and Magnus pushes, Duda pushes c3, like how do you actually stop the pawn from promotion?
Maybe it could end in a draw potentially if white takes this bishop, the black pawn pushes, the rook comes up with a check, the king moves, and then the white knight starts checking the black king. But no, Magnus goes back. He's very scared of this pawn then.
Oh, now he's going to take the pawn on c3.
Yeah, and then
now his position is simplified, and we have a situation where Magnus is a pawn up, but at the same time the bishop is very awkwardly placed on f1, and Duda plays great move there, knight to e4, aiming for the d2 square, which I actually don't think Duda is in trouble here. Magnus tries to go for the draw. Probably going to see a repetition here, because if you move the king out from the e7 square, white gets to play rook d7, stopping the black knight from getting to d2. We have draw. A good game by both players, I think.
Very high-level professional game now.
And Magnus just had to take a pragmatic move at the end there.
Yeah, otherwise he was risking losing. As Aryan said, the black knight cannot be allowed to come in and win the bishop. Really unfortunate for Magnus there, but I don't think Duda kind of showed any weakness at all. I think very fair result based on the trend of the game.
I'm looking at this Sevian against Nakamura game where Sevian is in big time trouble, but it's an equal position, but there's no way that it seems Sam Sevian can hold on with 20 seconds or so left on the clock.
So risky to go that low on the clock against...
Oh, I'm sorry, it was less pieces on the board than I expected it to be from my position.
So Hikaru cannot win, he only has a knight left. The question is whether Sevian has enough time to get this job done, pushing his
pawns. This is a
pawns.
fortress, right?
It looks like it, but the eval bar shows that it's winning. Maybe White's king can sneak on over, just outflank the black king a bit later. Maybe this is winning for Sevian.
Yeah, you're going to end up in Zugzwang here, actually, yeah.
Which means that the black pieces will...
Do you think it's going to be in time?
14 seconds. I think give him 10 more seconds easy, but... Oh, here we go. If the black knight retreats, then it's trapped. It doesn't retreat, and now the white king's going. He should be in time now, Sevian. He's making a new queen. Oh... Or perhaps not.
Hikaru is very tricky.
So clever with his knight maneuvers. But is there a way to catch that black knight with no squares?
King f7 was so precise there, because if you would play knight f7, then king g6 would
have been over.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I turned the sound up, so if you're hearing the clicking noises, that is their clicking right now.
Oh, and Sevian bails out. He takes that knight stalemate to end the game, but I think the clock would have decided that one anyway as a draw. Hikaru gets out of jail.
Wow, we have some exciting games here, but that means let's hear here. Oh, it seems it's a little bit hard to pick up Hikaru's sound again. It's been some streaming issues today, but let's see what else is going on at the moment. We have still a game here between Demchenko and Artemiev. Demchenko, we said he might be the good draw here at this stage of the tournament, but yeah, there he lost on time as well against Artemiev. So that gives us the following list with only 3 players with the full score here after 5 rounds.
Yeah, 3 players getting there in different ways. Move ahead. He's been kind of winning games easily, winning games very quickly. Artemiev winning from a dead loss position just on the clock. Yeah, and of course that pool of sharks lingering just behind, kind of in the chasing pack, Magnus, Hikaru, Duda. But it feels like an open week. It feels like anything could happen. Very hard to make predictions now.
Just number 1 on the list right now, Aryan. I have to ask you, with an Iranian background, why are the Iranians doing so well these days in chess?
Especially in Title Tuesdays. Iranians are doing really well in online blitz. I mean, there's been the popularity of chess has really gone up the last few years. Like we have Alireza, Parham, Amin Tabatabai.
We should actually add Sarah Hadem to that list, being such a profile that she is, even though it's with social media and such.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of support for chess. It seems like in Iran, and they're definitely trying to promote the next generation. So actually, people have told me like move ahead is like the next Alireza.
Oh wow!
He's a very big talent. I was told that a couple years ago. So I've definitely kept an eye on him. He hasn't showed like the top results yet in classical, but I think if he gets some chances, is gonna for sure be up there. He very talented kid. And here we have Tari Renato from Peru, who is known to be a blitz specialist. He's actually only an international master, but we always see his name in top of the list in Title Tuesdays. And
it does feel like maybe he's trolling Magnus, or maybe he's got a vote of his own with the viewers, because he played 1A3. And that is an opening we had on the poll for Magnus, and it wasn't voted the top choice. If I played Magnus Carlsen, I would not be playing the move 1 a3, that is for sure. And okay, he's got a decent position, but he has given Magnus the center. Aryan, what is this? Like, you're an IM, you're playing one of the best players in the world, and a3 on move 1.
Yeah, you would really think that the colors are switched up here, and Magnus is playing with the white pieces.
Yeah.
I really don't like the opening choice, because if there's like some place where you can try to get an advantage against Magnus, is like try to play more forcing lines in the opening. But Magnus, this is definitely like in his territory, just a random position where he can move around and outplay his opponent. So now do you have to? He plays c4 to protect that pawn. I actually don't like the knight on a5 here. It seems like this could be slightly better for white.
Surprised Magnus, yeah, he put his bishop on a square, like helping white play a move that probably he needed to play anyway, c4. And then he moves his bishop again. It does feel like a bit of a loss of time. And yeah, just kind of helping white, like you said, opening up the a file with the black knight there. Doesn't feel amazing. But okay, it's still a very level looking position.
Yeah, does feel like a typical Magnus position with the white pieces here. But yeah, maybe white can play like bishop to c3 now, try to maybe play queen c1, queen b2. It's going to be a maneuvering game, but white should be a bit better here. With a knight on a5, it's out of the game. He's maybe going to try to get that to b7 and d6 potentially.
Yeah, it's all about the maneuvers. Very, very positional battle here. But Tari, he was the one who chose this opening. He's the one who's now down 50 seconds on the clock. So perhaps regretting those earlier choices, putting a lot of pressure on himself to play good moves early.
I'm very surprised by the long think here, because it doesn't feel like a position where you need to spend a lot of time with white. It's not complicated. You can actually make easy moves here.
Exactly. And I liked your plan. He starts that, maybe just bracing for the black knight to jump into e4. And if we do see trade of bishops, the white queen is ready to jump forward. This is, yeah, now Magnus's turn to think for a little while.
Well, Magnus is thinking. I could say that move ahead and Nakamura is in equal position so far, and they've spent equal amounts of time on the board as well.
Maybe Magnus was briefly considering to trade the bishops there with bishop to d3. Goes queen c7. I still like maybe bishop e5 here, actually, just getting a tempo on that queen before playing queen to b2.
Yeah, the white queen can now improve herself. Yeah, Magnus, I'm not saying he's being outplayed, but like, it doesn't feel like he's done much in this position. Maybe struggling for a plan simply.
So you're not saying he's not being outplayed, but you're not saying he's not being outplayed either, right?
It's somewhere between outplayed and just making moves for the sake of moves. I'm not sure about white's last move, unless he really does mean to take this knight off the board. Did feel like a bit more choice.
I don't think you really want to take that knight. It's a very committal decision.
Mm-hmm. And this is why I was surprised. Like, why move the bishop back when likely black's knight was moving out the way anyway? Like, the bishop was on a great square, could have traded off in one move. Instead, it's he's kind of wasted a move that he could have been pushing a pawn forward, for example, just to wait, create some escape squares for his king for later. But yeah, feels like something's about to happen. It's just very unclear what that is.
I keep going back to the time aspect here, because Tari knows that he has to play quickly now to not fall too far behind the clock, and that's what's going to lead to mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who's going to make the first mistake? That is the big question. Maybe a small one by Tari there.
Feels like the last couple of moves have gone Magnus's favor though. Like, these trades feels like it benefits black. Like, generally, if you have less space and an oddly placed piece, you're happy to trade off some pieces. And here, then if the pieces get traded off, suddenly like this c4 pawn can become a target. Mm-hmm. And the knight on a5 is not too bad after all.
Okay, to trade queens or not to trade queens, that's the question. Does black say, okay, your queen's a good defender? He does say that. I was going to say you could go back as well. Very interesting fork in the road there. But now the black rook is going to land on an open file. There's big pressure building on white's pawn here. It is now it's definitely outplaying, but this time it's Magnus doing the outplaying.
Yeah, it's very typical when you're playing Magnus. Like, you take your foot off the gas for 1-2 moves, and suddenly Magnus is in a better position here. Definitely didn't look so convincing a few moves ago.
Yeah, suddenly he presses that acceleration pedal, and you just never catch up. That's true. Magnus has so many different gears. The opponents, I mean, Tari's so solid. Decent endgame player.
It really feels like one of those scenarios where like Magnus' opponent just gets very nervous. I don't think I've ever seen Tari spend that much time. He's almost like a 2-minute advantage now.
And here we go. He's trying to get those knights off the board, but that is a pawn sacrifice from Tari. Magnus is probably going to take back. Okay, I thought maybe with the rook, but then no, there would have been some tactics there. So he's keeping his rook on the board to deal with White's remaining pawn on that queen side. And just the 1 pawn advantage means he's likely going to end up in a promising endgame, and he's got 2 full extra minutes on the clock. This is Magnus's game now to throw away. Ooh, there's a trick. Bishop takes pawn. That would be a pin from the white rook. How can black?
But actually, how dangerous is that pin?
Yeah.
Maybe you can push c4 there, and you cannot stop both pawns.
Push some pawns. That's right. Maybe black can give up some material and stop running the pawns forward. He does push this pawn first.
It's a practical decision because with the time situation, Tari is anyway going to get flagged here. With the position is bad. Like you're defending with a pawn down in a rook end game with a 1.5 minute time difference. There's no chance that White can defend this in time. Now the rook has to go to a passive position. Rook a2 probably.
Tari is very, very quick, but I think you need to be superhuman quick to survive this game. Even if black loses the pawn, you can go around for 50 moves, 100 moves here easily and keep the game going.
But this rook endgame is hard to keep if you have plenty of time against Magnus, isn't it?
Exactly. Like even if he had 29 minutes, let alone 29 seconds, he might not hold it. And there we go. The black king was running the other direction. Now he might even sacrifice this pawn just to get the black king in. And now it's, oh, he goes this way instead. And rook trade here would mean that black's king moves in. And there we go. Magnus gets the full point and nudges past Renato Tari there. Very tense game, but he gets the job done.
Hikaru has turned it around, or here we see it against Movahed. We see him with plenty of time left. He has a better position. Is this a slam dunk?
It should be. If we count the material, it is rook for knight, and he has this very strong pass pawn. So the clock situation adding to that, Hikaru should be winning. Aryan, he's playing a very young, dangerous player though. Do you see any chances of a comeback?
It's hard to imagine tricks in this position. Like Hikaru is just taking all the pawns. The problem is like if you're trying to activate the black queen, the pawn on e5 is hanging. So it's hard to. You really want to activate the rook or the queen, but both pieces are protecting something in the black camp.
Yeah, this is the last chance to go for the white king, but Hikaru
yeah, probably just take on e5.
Yeah, you can deal with this in many, many ways. You can even give up your rook for the knight, but just moving the king should also be sufficient here. No tricks, everything's defended. The white queen is very versatile, and yeah, just a matter of time. He's going to take everything he's given. No time on the clock now, and there we go. He doesn't even wait for Hikaru's move. He resigns, move ahead, and Hikaru leapfrogs him. And is that now up 5.5 out of 6? Okay, only one player left, and it's your nemesis, Aryan.
Yeah, definitely my nemesis, the guy who knocked me out of the World Cup. Very, very strong blitz and rapid player, Pranav. I actually played in a team with him in Offerspill, Norwegian Club Cup team where we won the European Club Cup in 2023. I know him pretty well, Pranav.
Offerspill, the name of your team means sacrificial play.
Exactly, sacrificial play, and actually Pranav he definitely likes to sacrifice, so that's why we got him in the team.
I like that. And what happened in the World Cup match or the game?
So the first classical game, it was like back and forth the whole time, and then in the end, right when the dust had settled and I was much better, I made a huge blunder and lost with white. Then I actually managed to come back with the black pieces. I won that one to tie the match 1-1, and then we went to the rapid. It was a very tense match, but didn't go my way in the end. I lost the rapid 1.5 to half.
Yeah. What can we guess for the next matchup here? It's Pranav has to play one of these 5.5 players, so we're looking at possibly Magnus or Hikaru there. otherwise, Duda has already played Magnus and Hikaru has already played Sevian, so it's we may also get then a Magnus against Hikaru matchup.
We could. Anything's possible. I'm predicting it's going to be Magnus against Pranav first, the upfloat. But yeah, at this point, it's whoever you play is going to be strong, and whoever you play, you need to win often to leapfrog them or to do good things for your tiebreak. We'll see. What are our predictions? It feels like they're in collision course, Magnus and Hikaru. It's just when.
We're waiting for Semete Tologantenin against Ghassan Guliev, who's the last game being played right now, which is finishing up right about now. Well, actually, they're keeping it going still. They have less than a second each, and they're on auto move right now. So
seems like
quite hectic. But there, we had a win for Guliev. That means that we have next set. Oh, we did get Pranav against Hikaru. That's pretty exciting.
Okay, very interesting. So, world junior champion against one of the previous generation, I'll say, in Hikaru Nakamura, whose birthday is coming up, I believe, next week. And okay, we start with the Caro-Kann defense. Pranav, what will he do? How aggressive will he be? Will he push forward the advanced variation? Will he, go into a more classical line? And this is well-known stuff. Okay, E takes F6 is the trendy move, but Hikaru takes the other way. And I haven't really seen him play this opening much before, Aryan.
Yeah, G takes F6 is highly unusual these days. Like generally, you're told that you're supposed to take towards the center, but in this situation, it's like opening up the G file is like considered to not be accurate. I think White usually goes for a quick knight h4, claiming the bishop pair in this position. So I think this is a slight surprise for Pranav. But now Queen a6 trying to stop White from castling. Maybe are we going to see a repetition here?
Oh wow!
Hikaru is thinking about it.
Hikaru is laughing about it. Pranav here, he's saying to Hikaru, you can retreat, stopping the White King from castling. The White Bishop goes back to attack the Queen. And now it's the last chance for Hikaru to escape this. He goes back, and now it's Pranav's choice, and quick draw.
Somewhat surprising with the tournament situation, because Pranav is leading by half a point, so I would expect Hikaru to, especially after the opening choice, to go for the win. But
well, at least we get to watch this great game here instead with Magnus against Sevian. But I must admit, I'm a little bit thrown off by the pragmatism by Hikaru sometimes.
Yeah, he's done it before. He did it in the autumn split when he was half a point behind Alireza Firouzja, agreed to a lightning fast draw in that game, and then ended up kind of catching up and leapfrogging his opponent. But it is a very high-risk strategy. You're kind of saying that your own fate is no longer in your own hands. And yeah, it's pragmatism versus kind of doing it in a sporting way. And yeah, we'll see if he's rewarded.
Just so boring.
It is very boring. He's probably trying to save some energy there by making that quick draw. But we do have a very, very entertaining position in this one, at least, with pawn on g4, very unorthodox. But I don't even know how this position has occurred. It's so random.
It was another English opening from Magnus Carlsen, so he's doing the fans a lot of service here. They voted for 1c4. He's done that in multiple games with White. And it was a very offbeat opening with a very quick g4 for White. So looking good for Magnus according to the eval bar. That's probably because this is not the right side to castle. The Black King is vulnerable on this diagonal, vulnerable to pawn pushers. Sevian needs something very quickly to get his bishop out, get his rook out, go for the White King before it's too late.
The problem for Black here is that White has his pieces on much better squares, like the bishop on g3 looking great, while the bishop on a6 currently just very bad. Threatening that c4 pawn, which is so well protected. And now he tries h5, which I like, trying to get some counterplay there. Magnus trying to get a knight to f5. It just feels like such an easy position to play for White.
And now he might be tempted to bring his knight forward. Not yet. He allows a trade of rooks. And Magnus is suddenly playing positionally in a position where he could be going very aggressive and dynamic. But maybe he'll be rewarded. Sevian lacking the space here, lacking squares for his pieces.
It's going to be one of those situations where Magnus is probably just not going to castle in this game. Maybe just play king f1, king g1, and castle manually. I don't think he's gonna castle queenside in this case, because the pawn on a3 is going to be hanging.
Yeah, and the black queen moves. This looks like it's a blunder because of a fork. The white pawn can step forward, but then the black queen will dodge, and there will be a sudden attack against the white knight, which is loose. So it's not just a double attack that wins on the spot for Magnus. Very clever from Sam Sevian, who's also looking at this pawn. So he's asking immediate questions. He's saying to Magnus, okay, you probably have the advantage, but I'm going to force you to answer some difficult questions along the way.
Also, Sevian here really wants to push his pawn to d5, finally get to open up for his bishop on a6, which been standing on pretty badly the whole game, just not contributing. But like, I think if Magnus goes with his knight to f5 here, which looks logical, Sevian's plan is to play d5, just sacrifice and go for opening up the position, because it has to be said that white still has his king in the center and black has castle, so opening up the position should be in black's favor.
And that's the one thing Magnus himself has spoken about, that occasionally he leaves his king in the center too long, occasionally he kind of allows his opponent some scary attacks. He's too busy doing other stuff, accumulating small advantages, that he forgets about king safety or underestimates the opponent's ability to go for the king. So we'll see. That move
does create some more fun games, though.
It really does. It's a maximalist approach. He's saying, why waste a move on castling when I can use that move going forward with my knight, pushing pawns, doing more important things. And okay, big question. Aryan's expecting this move for black to blow open the center. I guess maybe the alternative would be to drop this knight back.
But I just got to ask you guys, being the GMs that you are, the question we have on top of the screen right now, not castling as well, it seems so wrong, yet it's probably... I mean, does it seem equally wrong to you guys as well?
I understand why he does it. I quite enjoy this strategy as well, kind of keeping the opponent guessing. It's like, if you attack the queen side, I'll go to the right. If you attack the left, I'll go to the...
I mean, only Magnus can get away with breaking these rules. Please, David's move there, knight to e7. I was thinking queen f3 here. It's looking dangerous. Maybe then he wants to push d5.
Yeah. Oh, we'll find out. There we go. The diagonal blocked before white could deliver that checkmate in one. And okay, we see the knights being traded off the board. It feels like Sevian's been fighting really, really well. He's made full use of the time that he has before the white king gets to safety. And here we go. We're going to see an exchange of knights. White's going to be a pawn up, but they're not pleasant pawns. And more importantly, that black bishop that Aryan's been mentioning, staring down the diagonal. Where is the white king going to get safe? Not easy anymore.
It's very important to put that queen on d6, stopping white from pushing that central pawn to d6, because if that diagonal would be opened up, it would be very scary. But now actually Sevian has a very healthy position. Like his king is very, very safe. And as David actually said, like, if there is one tiny thing I could mention that Magnus is not perfect at, is he doesn't feel that comfortable when his king is attacked or in some danger, and here the white king is very open.
But if you're not comfortable with having an attacked king, why don't you castle?
He likes to explore.
Push those boundaries, and that's why it's always kind of a decisive mistake when you swap off the queens against Magnus when he has a small positional advantage. You need to keep the queens on to scare the opponent. Sam Sevian now is giving up his bishop because he wants to land not just a bishop sacrifice, but a rook sacrifice on this square, breaking through to the white king. And how that ends is still a bit mysterious.
Very mysterious. He also played that surprisingly fast. Like either it works or you just resign on the spot. But it seems like it's actually correct here that you cannot get away from those checks.
But I think it's quite telling to say that after that move, Magnus, put on the brakes. What is happening here? I use a lot of time.
Yeah, and we might be seeing this whole sequence play out. Sevian's a whole rook down, but there's nowhere to hide for the white king. If it steps forward, there's only one check, but the black queen can continue dancing. And there's just no piece that can throw itself in the way. The white bishop can give itself up, but that won't change anything. And if the white king steps back, the queen will follow wherever the king goes.
Seems like we're going to see another 2 draws in a row for Magnus. Can't really escape those checks. Yeah. So draw on the first and second board.
Wow. There we go. Players dropping points. Magnus Howell to a draw. Sam Sevian, great idea there. Great rook sacrifice to hold the balance.
And it really did seem to surprise Magnus here when he took some time, realized what was going on, and hey, I have to accept this. Murzin against Maxime Vacher-Lagrave.
We have the world rapid champion, Murzin, very, very talented junior. He seems to be in a tough situation here, especially if you look at the time. He only has 22 seconds, trying to get some checks in.
Ooh, mistake though. The Black King is a bit open, so how can Murzin take advantage? He brings his knight in. Suddenly there's all sorts of threats in the air. The threat was the white rook coming up, a knight check, and those threats remain after the pawn is captured.
Interesting point. This is only Murzin's second title Tuesday of this season, and he finished 5th in the first one.
Oh, and there we go. Vacher-Lagrave's totally let it slip, blundering.
Oh, wow.
And suddenly the exchange down. Rook for bishop. And not just that, he's losing his queen or losing his bishop along the way. A couple of checks. Murzin's only got 8 seconds. Can he do this?
It's been a crazy turnaround.
Crazy turnaround.
He doesn't have that
He only
much
has
time.
5 seconds.
Oh, but he's so close to delivering mate. Okay, he needs to give checkmate now. 3 seconds. He gets the queens off, but that's going to take so much more time. He needed to go for the Black King. Now he's going to try and remove the 2 remaining black pawns to hold the draw. He's going to get it. Black cannot win. He's only got a bishop left. And Murzin, surely this is a draw now. The pawns will disappear. And all the draws this round. Murzin's saving himself, but panicking due to the clock.
I think this was the most entertaining draw by far.
and this was a fair result because this was clock battling against position.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and that's how it works sometimes, especially with this new format. We see it round in, round out, like players just playing purely for time.
Exciting here as well, Tabatabai against Movahed or Movahed, and we see that once again the young Iranian tends to do well here now.
Yeah, the clash of 2 Iranian players. Okay, he's jumped up to 6 points, and it's only 2 atop the standings right now.
Well, it means that it's getting exciting. We have Duda, we have Pranav, who both have 6.5 points. We have Magnus Carlsen with his 6, Hikar with 6, Movahed with 6, Artemiev, Sevian, Krogh, Giri. Giri is here still. It's still quite exciting here, David. It's quite open as well.
We get Magnus against Pranav actually in the next round. Which, Pranav, very tough 2 pairings, like first Hikaru and then Magnus. Doesn't get much tougher than that.
But this time he's not going to get an easy draw.
Yeah, I definitely don't think Magnus is gonna give him a draw with the white pieces.
Magnus is back at it. The English opening. He's played c4 more times than I can count already. The move he promised our audience. And this is a proper English. This is a really modern line with the Black Queen coming out and then just going back. And it took me a long time to kind of get my head around the fact that white couldn't take advantage of those 2 free tempi, but it's essentially a reverse Sicilian.
I think I've seen you have this position against Michael Adams, is that correct, in last year's British Championship?
Yeah, you know everything, Aryan.
I mean, I follow your games, but I remember Magnus also played this with the black pieces against Prague in the World Cup, so he has some experience from both sides here.
Yeah, and Pranav, I thought he was frozen, but the wind is carrying the kind of sheet behind him on the wall. So he's just locked in, super focused, and debating whether to agree to this knight exchange.
Would you trade knights here, David, or would you?
I think I would. I don't know. I've seen similar lines where it's kind of advisable to trade knights. Otherwise, the black knight just struggles to get to a better circuit. And you just need a couple of moves. If you move the rook just to defend this pawn, get the bishop out somewhere, it tends to be solid enough for black.
Yeah, very solid. He's probably going to play a rook b8 now, as David pointed out. And it actually goes c6, which is surprising. But the point is that actually if you take the pawn, you lose on the spot. Mm-hmm. Or, no, actually you can maybe get away with it. No, you can't. Like, take the pawn. Get a very funny variation there. Take the pawn. Pranav would go bishop g4. It looks like it's trapping... I mean, it is trapping the queen, but white can go c7, get a forcing line, but I think black wins material there in the end.
Yeah, there might be some ideas with the rook hitting the bishop. Magnus is thinking about it, though.
Maybe he just has to go queen e2 here and safeguard the queen.
Yeah, get the queen to safety, or maybe just step a pawn forward to prevent the black bishop trapping Her Majesty here. Okay, Pranav has forced Magnus to think the pawn move was played, and suddenly slightly better for black. Pranav, you played him, Aryan. How would you define his style?
He's very, very tricky. Like, before the match, I knew that I always have to look for tricks. Like he's a player, calculates really well, also fights very well in bad positions, extremely resourceful. Like putting Pranav away from a good position is very, very hard. So when I also played on a team with him in the European Club Cup, he did have so many swindles, and I was sitting next to him to witness. So very entertaining player. Like I maybe he's not like super positional player. He's still gonna improve there, but he already has so many skills.
His personal high in this Title Tuesday format is 9 points. So he's up there, but he hasn't been all the way up there.
Okay, so he's on course potentially for a new record. The Title Tuesday Swindler, I like it. Pranav, can he do that to Magnus this time? It looks level, although long term, this black pawn, it's either very strong or it could potentially be a weakness, could drop off the board. If there's an exchange, for example, the white rook comes up.
I like black's position here. I think Pranav should just play e4, then try to play queen f5. Okay, he takes on d4.
Ooh, it does feel like your move, just kind of keeping the tension, blocking it up, that was the more ambitious. Maybe because he's playing Magnus, he wants a bit of simplification.
I think Magnus is happy to see this though. And like now, if Magnus puts the queen on f3, his king is always going to be very safe.
Go for Magnus's king. That was the moral of the story.
Yeah, and here, like you can give this check on c6, but after queen f3, Magnus gets to trade the queens, and the a4 pawn is potentially weak. Although it's not clear, of course. Like black can put the bishop on e5, and this diagonal is annoying. So it's a very interesting position.
Yeah, and there we see Magnus was bopping along with the music. It looked like he was much more comfortable now, and Pranav maybe just not getting his type of position, because he did simplify things, he did clarify the center. If it is an endgame, then he knows Magnus suddenly becomes the favorite. Pranav spending a minute there almost on the last couple of moves, and exactly that sequence that you predicted there, and the white rook now can start targeting some pawns.
I think it's important to play rook b4 here, because otherwise if you go like rook c4, maybe black gets a tempo with pawn to b5. Goes rook d3.
Okay, just keeping everything protected. He's going to maybe use the other rook to step across. Oh, it does feel like this is all the makings of a Magnus masterclass. Typical endgame grind here with this black pawn stepping forward but becoming a bit of a target. I'm expecting the white rook now just to sidestep one square to break the pin.
Yeah, rook b1 looks very logical. And there's some tricks in the position, like after rook b1, if you protect the pawn on b5 with the wrong rook, you can drop the a4 pawn there. There's a rook b8 here. I still like black's position. It might simplify, like white maybe play something like knight to d5, but Magnus really wants to win in this game. Like if he draws, it's kind of having 3 draws in a row would ruin the tournament situation.
And okay, we see an exchange of pawns. So I think best case scenario now for Magnus Carlsen is to win this pawn, but even that will not guarantee winning chances. 4 versus 3 in terms of pawns on the other side of the board, on the king side. It's going to be very hard. It's going to be a long, long battle. Especially if the knights come off, I think that might be helpful for Pranav.
But I think in this time format, like the 4 against 3 with the knights on the board, very, very difficult to defend. So I think Pranav missed this sequence, rook c8, rook a8, that he cannot defend the pawn here. And this has now really gone Magnus's way the last 2 moves.
Are we finding that the players, as they play this format more and more, are getting better at making pragmatic decisions that is fitted for the format?
Yeah, I think so. There have been some fantastic moments over the last few weeks where we've seen players trade off into, for example, rook versus bishop, which over the board with increment is just a dead draw at this level. But they know with a rook versus a bishop, you can play around forever. You can sit on the opposite color complex to your opponent's bishop, and you can guarantee 50 more moves. That means you'll probably win on time in the process. So there have been these little kind of tricks of the trade that the players are getting used to. And Pranav here desperately trying to get those knights off the board if he can, because a rook endgame without those pieces would be so much easier to defend. But it looks like Magnus has been doing a good job. He's keeping those knights on the board. Rook trade imminent. Big winning chances.
Pranav doesn't look too happy here. I think he's shaking his head there. And also 1 minute down on the clock. This is so difficult to hold. Like Magnus is probably just going to trade rooks now and play on the clock.
Okay, he brings his rook up. Won't change much. There we go. He does finally exchange some rooks. Magnus always puts a pawn as far as he can down the board, especially on the A and H files. He just leaves them there for later. They cramped the black position. They clamp down on any pawn breaks.
95 though? 95 here?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think Magnus missed that actually.
Oh, yeah. He reacted a little.
Yeah, it was not his... He definitely didn't want to allow the trade of knights. He forgot that the e3 pawn was hanging. So this is going to get more entertaining now. Like, Pranav is also a fast player, but I really think with the time advantage that Magnus should be able to take this one. But he has to do some dirty flagging.
Yeah.
He's dirty flagging or just flagging?
It's always dirty.
It's dirty. It's, some dirty flagging.
Yeah, I think it's defined as dirty if you're not winning on the board and you flag your opponent or you try to win on time. Here, you could argue that Magnus is making progress. He's going to try and push through at the right moment. He's just preparing to block some checks with his rook. If black checks, there will be a block. But he's preparing to create a pass pawn. And I think even over the board, it's difficult for black. There's going to be problems. I've seen Magnus win very similar endgames in the past. Yeah,
this kind of pawn construction with a pawn on h5 makes it very unpleasant for black to hold.
And there we go. Going passive was enough already. One very natural move from Pranav, showing that Magnus now should be winning. Maybe the king sneaks forward. Nope, he blocks. The king's going to come around the other way, potentially. I'm waiting for Magnus to bring his king round.
King e4, yeah.
And eventually the idea is, okay, now he's found a safe haven for his king. Checkmate was threatened in one move. The king's running away. Now Magnus will bring his king back. Okay, the other way. And this pawn is running through. No way to stop that touchdown.
Magnus is so precise in these endgames. We thought he's going to go with the king to f5, but plot twist.
Plot twist. He just knows everything. He sees everything. He's played all of this type of position before. And Pranav... Yeah, unfortunately, it was the type of position where Magnus is just unparalleled. 10 seconds. He's fighting on, but this pawn is going to decide the game. The white rook will move across. There will be a block, or the king will step out, and he'll just try and find those last
now
details.
Just king d8. The pawn can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped. There we go. A block, and a new queen will land. Magnus gets the win. Important for the standings. Pranav, the first loss of his tournament.
He knows when you are sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good, he knows everything you said, right?
Exactly.
Not for nothing that he calls himself the masked elf when he's streaming, but this is a great game by Magnus Carlsen. And any other surprises here that you see right away? We see Move Ahead keeps doing really well. He beat Giri right now.
Very impressive kid. Like, I've been on the watch for him the last 2 years, I would say, so not too surprised seeing Move Ahead making some upsets there. But yeah, very important win for Magnus. Like, at some point it looked scary, and with the tournament situation he really needed that win, and now we have 5 players with 7 points.
Oof. Is it time? Is it Magnus Hikaru? It just feels like it's been building up to it.
It has, hasn't it?
It really does.
We're not 100% set for that matchup yet. There's still too many names that are in the mix, but it's one of those, we always come to that point, don't we?
Mm-hmm. Whether it's round 7, 8, whether it's round 11, winner takes it all, who knows? But it's definitely kind of pushing each other to the limit here. Both undefeated so far, just dropping a couple of draws. But this is crunch time. This next break is the last remaining moment that they can breathe before the final sprint.
It's quite a big difference in nationalities that are doing well right now. I mean, you see a lot of different countries up there fighting for the top positions. That means that we also have, the country standings where, once again, Aryan, you're not contributing to getting Norway top 10 here.
Yeah, I do have an excuse though. This week, like, I'm at least doing the commentary. But if I would be at home not playing, that would be worse.
Why is England not on this list, David?
I know. I feel bad. I've been begging some of the top players to play, but England, just historically, nearly none of the top players have played Title Tuesday, going back 10 years already.
You're begging. What are they saying?
I guess I just don't have enough persuasive charm. But maybe one day. But the new generation are coming in England. They're still very, very young. In a few years, they might be the new Iran.
Vietnam up there now doing very well as well, in fifth place. But we see USA, Iran, Ukraine, and Poland. Poland is there every single time.
That's kind of unexpected. Like, I mean, I know Duda always does very well in these Title Tuesdays. I haven't seen too many other like Polish GMs do very well. We saw, I think, Klikowski, if I'm mentioning his name correctly, had some upset, like beating a very strong player in the third round, I think. But besides him, like I haven't seen too many Polish GMs.
Well, it means that if we look at the players and how they're doing right now, we have Hikaru on top, Magnus, Muvahed, Sevian, Martirosyan, all in 7 points. Who's gonna win this game week 1 of the winter split?
Here we go.
And with that, I think that we should go to an action replay, see what has really been happening here. We go to Magnus against Pranav.
And it's the closing stages here, the end game where Magnus showing that Magnus touch in the end game, so clear, so precise, just creating this pass pawn in a moment. That was the beginning of the end. The White King just too active, the Black King passive. And yeah, the Black Rook unable to hold the fort all on its own. Magnus also with a bit of time in the bank, just very, very practical here. We were talking about the White King coming in. He got that in a few moves' time, and it was never really in doubt.
Yeah, the Rook end game was very accurately played by Magnus. Like maneuvering the king like that was very impressive.
Well, it's been exciting so far. We're looking forward to what's ahead, but let's take a little bit of a look back as well.
Lucas is winning on the board. We know that. We see the evaluation bar, but I think he was nervous about the clock situation. He gives up his rook for knight, but now he has 6 extra seconds and an extra pawn. Navarro's blundered apparently, brings his knight forward. He's trying to give up that knight for his own knight here. He's got some nice checks. There we go. He forks the Black King and rook. He's about to deliver checkmate, and Anish gets the win. And no, it looks like a big blunder from Andrei Sipenko. Oh, and Sevian bails out. He takes that nice stalemate to end the game, but I think the clock would have decided that one anyway as a draw. Hikaru gets out of jail.
I'm really loving Tuesdays these days because it is action-packed and it's every single week, and you have the top players and you have this great form. It's working.
Exactly. I love the weekend because you can chill, but then Monday, you know, nobody likes a Monday. Tuesday, that's the day where we all bring a bit more energy and we also just watch some fantastic chess.
And it is really exciting when we get this top-level chess on a weekly basis like we are these days. I mean, chess has taken so many steps on how it's accessible to the viewers right now.
It's very cool to see Title Tuesday being taken so seriously. Like we have the almost all the top players playing it every week, and I mean, just like I've been personally watching as a fan, Magnus doing commentary on his games. It's such a learning experience. Very, very enjoyable.
And that is interesting with having the players actually doing commentary like that. What's your take on that? You do some streaming commentary as well. How hard is it to focus on the games as you're talking the games?
Yeah, I've done some streaming for the Chess Bros over the years, and yeah, I think I'm not at my A game when I'm like talking and playing at the same time. I think it takes years to get sort of like that good at it that it's that you play on the same level. But it makes it more fun to like interact with a chat, and you're kind of more motivated as well to do well when you have people cheer for you.
And look at the good atmosphere we have in the breaks here. We have a 4 split of 4 players right now. I mean, it does look like Lucas and Hikaru has more fun who's doing the streaming than the guys on top here. Artem looks like he's having a run through of his previous games and not too happy.
They do look very serious.
Yeah, Pranav is, I mean, I thought he's frozen, but no, I saw him blink a second ago. He's just so locked in. And I guess it is quite tense when you're getting to these final stages and suffering his first defeat, Pranav. But yeah, I think hopefully this is inspiring for anyone thinking of getting into streaming, playing. Yeah, they can do it all.
Aryan said he may not play his A game. Do you think Hikaru and Magnus plays their A game when they're streaming?
I don't think they need to. That's the problem. Even their B game is enough normally. And here we go. It's the clash of the two giants.
Let's hear.
I guess I'll go off playlist and I'll find it. It was Icky Dolly and a year.
He's hanging behind a little bit here, but we're trying to see what he thinks about the matchup.
Here we go. Yeah, that sounds right.
Trying to get those tunes perfect.
Get the El Clasico here. Big matchup.
El Clasico, El Chesico. It's the Sicilian Najdorf to start this game. This is very fiery stuff, and Hikaru's chosen one of the most direct lines, the most ambitious lines, bring the bishop out, and Magnus replies by going pawn hunting.
This is a very forcing line, something we would not expect Magnus to opt for here.
Wow, the poison pawn variation.
This is going to test both players' theory knowledge. Black needs to... I mean, theory says that Black should take the pawn on b2, but...
Okay,
I would not...
I'm just castle.
Okay.
I mean, we're talking about a game. He is slowing down his chatter when he's playing Magnus compared to everyone else as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's dancing along to the music, but you can tell he's trying to focus a bit more than usual. And he has a very good score against Magnus in recent weeks. He's beaten Magnus in kind of 2 or 3 of the closing weeks of the autumn split. And here we go. It looks like good compensation for white. The black queen offside. The black piece is just not ready for the action that's about to land.
Yeah, but have we seen Magnus play this kind of game?
It's very unusual. Like I don't think I've ever seen Magnus play this variation in the Sicilian. Usually not his style. But that being said, like Hikaru also plays like very offbeat systems online, so kind of unexpected by both players. So it'll be interesting. I saw the bar really reacts there after castle, which to me looks like a very logical move.
It's bouncing everywhere. This is complex.
Very complex, and the reason that was a bit of a mistake from Magnus is that apparently the white bishop had to take that knight, and then the white knight had to jump in with some sudden attack, but that was not the most natural reply. Hikaru, I have noticed he doesn't like to go for direct attacks. He doesn't like to sacrifice pawns in general these days, and he's just a pawn down now.
I don't know if he missed Magnus's last move, because after d5, black is very comfortable. I mean, it has to be remembered that black captured a pawn on b2, so black is actually a pawn up in this position, and white has everything to prove here. And generally, white tries to harass the black queen, but right now the queen goes to d6, a very safe square. And Magnus is just a pawn up.
I meant to play. Yeah, I might have confused the line.
I added that comment there from Hikaru. He might have confused the line. He's shaking his head. He's not too comfortable.
Not comfortable at all. There was a big threat there of the white bishop coming forward to trap the black queen. On a previous move, the black bishop could have come to deliver a check while the king was still on g1. So that threat was newly created. Magnus now blocks it. And he's creating threats of his own. The knight jumping forward to make advantage of this pin here. And suddenly, it looks more than slightly better for Magnus Carlsen. And there we go. Queen's coming off the board. He's just a clear pawn up, but white does have the bishop pair. For how long?
The e file is looking very dangerous for white. Like white needs to somehow activate his bishops, but d1 is definitely not.
You said active.
not the activation square.
But I keep saying, I mean, when we get Hikaru against Magnus, these are the kind of games we're dreaming of, guys. This is fun. This is exciting.
Exactly, very exciting, and this could still go either way. If Magnus doesn't take advantage in the next few moves of the fact that white's pieces aren't so coordinated, then we could see, for example, will the rooks come off, the bishops come to life, and Hikaru might get compensation. But for now,
maybe just bishop d7 now. Get to connect those rooks.
Just for those who's wondering, who do not speak Norwegian, he's singing songs about being out fishing right now.
He's fishing for pieces. He's fishing for enemy pawns. Nice to know the players. They can multitask. They can listen to music, sing, and play decent moves.
Ooh. You had to be careful about where you place the white rook. There were some forks on d2. And now probably just rook b8. Activating the rook makes sense.
Ooh, he's trying to trade off pieces. Magnus now. That's decent. At some point, the knight might come back and start hunting pawns.
We just snap off the second pawn on f5. Why not?
Didn't even see that, but that's even better. 2 pawns up. He's been fishing, angling for victory here, and the white rook getting desperate, trying to go behind. But the white piece is just not active enough. There we go. Magnus can bully Hikaru now with the threat of some exchanges due to his 2-pawn advantage.
By the way, we have sound up for both players right now. They're not saying anything at all. Not even singing about fishing pieces right now for Magnus.
Guess I'll trade and go here.
Opposite color bishops. How drawish are they? He's going to be 3 pawns down, Hikaru Nakamura.
Is this actually losing or not is the question.
The answer is yes, Hikaru, right now.
I think the problem is like the distance is too big.
Not 100% sure this endgame is losing.
Pawn on c4 and pawn on f6. Like sometimes you have scenarios in these opposite color bishops endgames where you're 2 pawns down, but it's a fortress. But here you're great passers on both sides, so he's not going to be able to hold.
But at the same time, if Hikaru is not sure that it's losing, that means there's still complexities here, David.
Exactly, and these positions are some of the few where occasionally the computers aren't so trustworthy. Occasionally you'll find a position that it is a fortress and computers still say big advantage for one side. Here I do agree that it's winning for black. I think Aryan's right that at some point it will just be a fight on 2 fronts. Magnus is going to prepare to push this pawn through. There's also the idea of, for example, pushing this pawn and at some point bringing the black king over this direction. It's a bit of a long walk. And yeah, maybe he's just going to try and fix the king side first. But ultimately, it's a matter of time. It's just whether Magnus can find the right plan within his remaining 1.5 minutes.
Considering he was singing about fishing for pieces earlier, it does also seem that he's more comfortable in this position. And we started out this game by saying, is this a line, a position that Magnus knows how to play?
A fishing line.
I think the problem for Hikaru was that he was also not an expert on the line. Like he forgot the line there. So here Magnus sacrifices his pawn, but I think he did the right decision because he gets to create his second pass pawn on the king side.
Fishing for piece could have been a play of words on the Fisher-esque type opening.
Exactly. Fisher would have been much more comfortable than Hikaru going for this. And wow, look at this pawn sacrifice. If the bishop takes, the black pawn steps forward, and it's not the g pawn that's going to win the game.
Should have gone bishop h4 too.
Yeah, Magnus looks very confident. He knows that he's got this one.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about having doubled c pawns. You can give one up, and you still have another one in the bank for later.
I feel like there's something.
There isn't. Magnus is winning.
d3 takes. King f3.
Maybe he's going to try bishop g3.
I feel like there's something here. I don't know why, but it just feels to me like there should be something. Maybe I'm just insane and there is nothing.
You can even go c4 there and it's like, looks fine.
Bishop g3 definitely loses.
Yeah, everything loses at this point. Taking this pawn allows black to, there we go, create the h pawn.
But it's also so nice to hear
players
who do not have complete control in the variation.
If he gets pawn at g2...
Yeah, Magnus breathing heavily, but I think that's just pure excitement at this point.
I mean, I'm also going to lose on time. I mean, it's just an impossible spot to be in.
Oh, he pre-moves his bishop though, Hikaru. And that is game over. Magnus takes the win.
Impossible spot to be in.
Impossible spot to be in is the final words here for Hikaru Nakamura. Do you agree with him? Was it?
Yeah, the damage had already been done. I think the opening simply, we saw the eval bar up and down, up and down. They were kind of both trying to bluff each other. Magnus called the bluff, took the pawn, and nursed it to victory.
Martirosyan has 8 points as well here. This is really turning into be a wonderful finish for this tournament. Once again, this format brings in close matches every time, or close games.
Very impressive by Martirosyan. I knew he's capable of having amazing results in Blitz. I think it was in Warsaw 2021 World Blitz Championship where he got a bronze medal, which is which shows that he can play against the Sharks. So Magnus is probably going to play Martirosyan next, as nobody else can get 8 points. And yeah, he's in a good spot.
Looks like Move Ahead might be winning on time against Sam Sevian on board 2, so there might be one more member of the 8-point club.
That throw him up there in the mix. We have Yesipenko is now on 7.5. The candidates. Let's take a look at this endgame.
Oh, 1 second for Sevian. That's going to decide it, but also the board where White has an extra rook for bishop and that pawn, and he gets the win.
Vahed, who is definitely up there, and he keeps impressing you, Aryan, doesn't he?
Yeah, he keeps beating 2700 after 2700.
What's your take?
Oh, he actually also got 8 points. So so Magnus might play him in the next round.
What's your take? Is he a new Faroujah?
I mean, he still has, in classical at least, he still has a lot of results to show. But in Title Tuesday, yeah, he can be. He's a new Faroujah, at least online.
But I mean, it's good to see some of these young teenagers coming up and really throwing their weight around, because perhaps the way things were going in chess for a while, we almost would have thought we had more teenage prodigies, especially in these quick formats. But still, it's the old guard who tends to be on top of the standings.
It really is, and that full change of the guard is yet to quite happen. It just feels like we're in that kind of grey area where it's imminent, it's inevitable. But here we go. It's a lot of M's at the top of the standings, I'm going to say. Martirosyan, Magnus, move ahead, Mertzin. And here we go. It's the Armenian Grandmaster who gets a shot at Magnus this time.
It's an Eminem matchup.
It is. And it's back to the Queen's Gambit declined. Will Magnus play this A6 move? There we go. It's his own pet line, his own little favorite there.
Goes for his beloved system. And yeah, this is actually named after him at this point. It's called the Magnus opening.
Oh, that's so unfair. These days, like, every opening's been taken, but Magnus still finds moves that are named after him. That's my dream. One day there will be a Howell Gambit. In the meantime, bishops traded off the board. Those dark squared bishops. And this last move is designed to keep black's remaining bishop pinned down to this b-pawn to defend. We've seen Magnus do magical things, though, in these types of pawn structures. We saw him win as early as, round 1, round 2 in this opening. Can he do the same again as we see Martirosyan appear on the camera?
Martirosyan is a very positional player, so he's definitely not going to be easy to break down in these kinds of positions. He's very good at maneuvering and has a very high chess understanding. I'm very curious to see how Magnus is going to break him down here.
He's going to start by singing or dancing or reacting to something, Magnus, on the camera.
I actually turned up his sound in case he was singing, but there was no sound right now.
Ooh, this is a trap.
I'm not sure if I liked rook to e1, because allowing bishop f5 is in general something black wants to achieve. So maybe queen c2 instead would make more sense. Interesting approach by Martirosyan. He just tries to simplify the game. Maybe with the tournament situation, he's probably very happy with the draw.
Yeah, it does feel like this is safety first from Martirosyan. Slightly frustrating for Magnus. White does have an isolated pawn, so potential for black long term. Just worth noting that queen takes pawn was a trap earlier, still a trap. The queen would get herself caught without any escape squares if she grabs too early. So can Magnus somehow, for example, get his knight back into the center? Can he defend his pawn? Does he have time for that? Feels like it should be balanced. White is so active, but I think I would take black. Feels risk-free here for Magnus Carlsen.
But he is using a lot of time now, Magnus. He is 20 seconds behind Martirosyan.
It's not an easy decision how you're going to defend the b7 pawn here. Although currently white is not really threatening to take it because the queen gets trapped. But I quite understand Magnus taking a bit of a think here, because it's not easy like how you're going to put up your pieces. Like if you play like rook e8, and suddenly white can trade and take the b7 pawn. So he has to find a good square for his queen, Magnus, and he wants to put the knight on d6.
Yeah, feels like a critical moment. Either Magnus finds something and the game goes on, maybe he has chances of a small advantage later, or it could just fizzle out to a draw within the next 5-6 moves. That's why he's been in the tank, pausing frozen for over a minute now.
And it's more than a minute behind on the clock.
Quite a practical approach by Martirosyan. I think it makes sense what he's done.
Yeah, I always tell people, if they're lower rated than their opponent, use it as a superpower. You can bully them. You can say, okay, I'm going to play an equal position. And at some point, you provoke them to do something a bit crazy if they want to win.
But now we're talking 1.5 minutes. How easy is this to just settle to draw if he decides to take that route?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to draw, maybe not now, but at some point in the future, he might just offer a trade of queens, or he might just move his queen back, allow white to push forward in the center and trade off all of the pawns. But this is reckless from Magnus.
Yeah.
2 minutes now.
We even saw him taking the time to switch the song there. So he He's surprisingly not worried about the clock.
Need some more energetic songs, it seems. It may be that we are having a bit of a transmission error here now, guys. It does seem like we have had moves that have not been conveyed on the board, and that the clock is actually completely different than what we see at the moment, and that they are 2:45 for Magnus against 3 minutes for Martirosyan. So some transmission errors are going on here, just so you guys know. And the position is also different. So perhaps you want to give a bit of an update on how it's looking now, David?
Ooh, it does look similar, although the white rooks have got very active. They've doubled up on the E-file. One white rook has come across, and another one has landed on the 7th rank. It looks like Magnus is probably on the back foot there, trying to... he's the one trying to force the draw. Okay, we catch up with the live position, and here we go. The white rook, the white queen, they're eyeing up a pawn. And yeah, this is the moment we could see everything come off the board. If Magnus wants, knight takes pawn, and probably everything fizzles out. This pawn will drop, and we'd head towards an equal endgame.
But at least we're not seeing gross negligence from Magnus in the time department here. Just negligence.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does go for that decision, and the game fizzles out. We have a very drawish rook endgame here, so yeah, I'd be very surprised if this game doesn't end up in a draw in a few moves. Everything is getting traded off.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting. It's going to open up the whole standings for the pack just half a point below. It could come down to tie breaks to decide this. I can't believe this is the penultimate round, and it feels like the winter split, everyone's just come really well armed. Like, there's hardly anything to separate them. Lots and lots of draws this week compared to previous weeks. And okay, Magnus doesn't even take that pawn available on b2. He wants to get both of the rooks down. This is slightly more ambitious.
Got a bit of a smile there from Magnus. And I don't know if he thought about something funny or what it was.
It's the fishing song again.
It may have been, but do you guys think there is another likely result in a draw with both having 2 minutes on the clock here?
I think it's enough time. If this was 56 seconds against 50 seconds, maybe. But Magnus is playing down a pawn. Yeah, I mean, what likely will happen in the rest of this game is that Black's rooks will get active enough to win the 2 white pawns. In the meantime, the black pawn will drop, and the whole of that left side of the board just will totally evaporate. And we'll see the players repeat the position. I don't think a dirty flag is realistic with the opponent having a minute and a half. And here we go. Martirosyan starts that procedure. The black rook is going to go behind now. Magnus needs to call it a day before it's too late. And there we go. Pawns disappear, rooks disappear. And this is a well-known draw now. There we go. Confirmed. Very stable game from both players.
We have a very interesting game between the young kid, Movahed, and Murzin. Here we can see how that is finishing up. We see, once again, short on time here for Murzin.
Ooh, short on time, and the position not looking great either. The power of the bishops here. This square is so tender, and the other black bishop cuts across. The white king is in the kill zone, and yeah, the back rank as well. All the checkmating patterns you can imagine.
Movahed just keeps impressing. He's going to win this one for sure, I think. I mean, just look at the time. It's very bad position for white, but also white is losing on time.
He's going to move further ahead.
It's going to be on 8 and he's going to be on 9 points actually if he wins this one.
Yeah,
he's going to be in sole lead. So Magnus has to beat him in the last round. Only way to stop him.
If he gets to play him.
They're on collision course. That is for sure. The king moves to the corner. Now he's just debating how to get this job done. Ultimately, Black wants to set up getting a rook down to the back rank, potentially. Does he need to rush? I'm expecting... There we go. He just moves his king. This does allow a queen exchange, though. So maybe white will not get checkmated, but that just means the game will go on a lot longer. Murzin, clock situation is fatal already. And move ahead. He would probably take the queens off. Maybe he can block with a rook if he wants. But yeah, it's just the clock. This is going to decide it. Murzin, the world rapid champion, he's going to need to be speedier than ever before.
Rook b7.
Yeah, rook b7 was maybe the way.
Yeah, now you can just activate the rook. This looks easy for black to play.
Now the rook can come in. White's just totally paralyzed on the back rank. And it's just a matter of time. Ooh, just need to find somewhere safe for the king, and that is a checkmate threat. Not much to do about that one. Desperation now, throwing some pawns forward, but unstoppable, this checkmate. Look at the power of those bishops. And
actually, rook g1, you can play bishop g2 for the memes.
For the crowd.
Yeah.
And there we go. Move ahead. Does move ahead to first place. Half a point ahead now. 9 out of 10.
It's almost as though I'm hoping that we get move ahead against Magnus here, because it would be such a poetic finish to this day.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for it. If that doesn't happen, it's definitely not a good pairing for Magnus, because he's the only one who can stop him at this point.
Can you imagine though the nerves of being a young kid playing Magnus in the 11th round for the win?
Yeah, I mean that's the ultimate test. If you get through that, you deserve it. You deserve winning the tournament. You deserve everything. But yeah, especially if he gets black against Magnus, that could be tricky. That being said, move ahead. He's due a white, as is Magnus, and the other players, Tari, Matarosian, they're due black. So it could be a case of a bit of luck in the last round in terms of the pairings. Maybe just the colors don't match.
If Andreikin beats Yesipenko, who seems to keep his candidate's form, was doing pretty well before this round. There are a lot of players on 8 points which can just win the last round and climb up there, but it's probably going to be one of the first four players.
We'll know soon, because there's only 2 games being played at the moment. Those are finishing up right now, so we get what is going to be the final pairing. And here we see it, we get it. Ooh. We get with white for Magnus against move ahead.
Good pairing, especially getting the white pieces. Magnus is so good at like clinching in this last rounds.
And imagine this young kid now for the win. Here at Title Tuesday against Magnus Carlsen. And we've talked about it. For someone who's had such good results as move ahead, this is the kind of tournament that could really catapult him towards the EWC in the qualifying with Title Tuesday.
Exactly. Career defining potentially if he does make it to that tournament and gets a chance over the board against the big guys for the first time in his career. In the meantime, we see the King's Indian defense. Quite a rare guest, I would say, at the top level these days, and not normally the weapon you want to use if you just want a draw. He does play this trendy idea of bringing the bishop out, but Aryan, what are your thoughts? Is this a wise choice against Magnus?
It's funny because he really has like Alireza's style. Alireza also loves to play the King's Indian, especially the younger Alireza. Doesn't shy away from complications against the top players.
So clearly his inspiration.
I've seen, I think it was like one of the earlier Title Tuesday. Magnus had a really nice game against move ahead. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah,
I was watching.
Magnus described it as the most fun game he's ever played in Title Tuesday in this opening against this opponent. That was a kind of mutual kingside attack where Magnus ended up being the one to deliver mate, but there was a bit of a king hunt across the board. And this one far more quiet for now.
It does seem right now that if Magnus wins here, he will win, because he was already on top of the tiebreakers and now he's playing the top point getters, so he would still be ahead on tiebreaker if someone else reaches the same amount of points, 9.5. If move ahead draws this game, the chance is that he will also win this tournament, because he's been in the top for so long that he's played good players the entire time. So it does seem likely that a draw or a win for move ahead will win it, or a win for Magnus will win it for him.
So their destinies are in their hands.
It does look like it, but I mean, we never know. If there's a draw, something may happen with the tie breaks, because they can be uncertain.
Exactly. So we will focus here. Likely that one of these two players wins the tournament. I love the puns there from the chat a moment ago. The kid, move ahead, playing the kid, the King's Indian defense. And in the meantime, white is playing in typical King's Indian fashion on the queen side. Black is trying to strike on the other side of the board. A big threat to trap the white bishop, and that has been prevented. This is a bit loosening, though. There was a loose pawn. Suddenly, big advantage for Magnus Carlsen.
Do you agree with that?
Yes. I mean, these positions, I've analyzed them a lot. Computers tend to be slightly deceptive, or at least historically. Computers always give white a huge advantage, but here I understand it more, because probably the black king is a bit weaker, a bit looser. This pawn is a big weakness. I don't really see what the black knights are doing, both of them stuck on the edge of the board. Aryan, it feels like maybe just not the right opening choice.
Feels like a bit of a deja vu from the last King's Indian game they had together, right? Like it was very similar to this structured like take on f5 and f4.
Exactly, and that time Magnus had a swinging rook, which really helped, but this one also looking very, very good for the world number one. That being said, the King's Indian is the type of opening that can swing, and the eval can swing. Suddenly, a massive attack is generated against the White King, and it's game over. But here it looks like Magnus in control. That's a beautiful square for the White Knight. Lots of jumping points potentially later, and yeah, it's just very unclear what Black is going to do next.
Yeah, but I don't think we should write move ahead off here either, because now like his knight can get to c5, which finally solves the situation with his knight on a6, which has been out of the game for the last moves.
Yeah, this a4 move was so key. I think that was the last moment. If White had got one more move, then that Black Knight would have been out of the game forever. Suddenly, really clever as well that he brought his rook here first. So now White breaking out on this flank, he would, of course, play en passant, and he would take everything off, and the White King would have to poke its head out of the hiding spot. Magnus, going wrong apparently. King's Indian defense always turns.
Would Black maybe plant his rook on g3 here? It does go for it with some sacrifice ideas here. Like you can play knight e2, trapping the black rook, but maybe he's like planning to sacrifice it on the white bishop. Like in King's Indian, you always play very, very sharp.
Magnus didn't really react though. He just kept on playing and moved the bishop back.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to keep a poker face, stay in the zone. I think Magnus has realized that in this time format, you just can't tilt. There's no time for it. He was definitely expecting after the bishop came forward for the black rook to slide just one square across, but that was a nice way for move ahead to gain time for his knight to come in. Will we see a pawn exchange?
There's a lot of word plays here. Move ahead is one move ahead.
Yeah. And, okay, only one exchange of pawns so far. This board is packed, still 30 pieces on it. Oh, very, very tense.
Yeah, g3 is a very interesting decision, opening up the g file. At first I thought it was pretty risky, but it doesn't seem like black has any way to exploit it. Like if you would play like knight to f6 and g4, it would look very dangerous, but at the moment the pawn on f5 is hanging. It feels like the last couple of moves have really gone in Magnus's favor. It's not easy to protect that f5 pawn.
Yeah, not easy. And if you have to go back, then you might walk into some other knight jumps. The black rook really doesn't want to move off the open file. There we go, it does in the end. But now white is the one to hold control.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play queen g2 there. Just creating some very dangerous threats. And now I think Magnus wants to just play like queen h5. Taking the queens off, and black is under pressure because if the white bishop lands on the diagonal on d4, let's say, it would be very, very scary for black.
Yeah, that would just be game over if the white knight can somehow land somewhere and get out of the way for its bishop. But in the meantime, this pawn is attacked, so Magnus might have to take a timeout to defend it.
What's your gut feel about this game? Does it feel as convincing as the eval bar is saying right now?
No.
Because the evaluation bar is saying much better.
I would pick white. I think stakes are higher for black since the black king is a bit of a sitting target in the corner. And I love white's knight. I love the potential of that diagonal that Aryan mentioned, but I don't see anything immediate. And as long as there's no knockout blow, then this could easily turn. And Magnus shaking his head.
I think he's annoyed by himself that he's took a long think there. Like the moves are not flowing in easily. Queen d2 makes, like, you want to play knight f6 here with black, but the f5 pawn is hanging again. It's not easy to improve your position with black. Maybe bishop g7, try to fight against that diagonal.
Yeah.
Magnus looks so focused right now.
Exactly. It feels like a bit of a standoff. Something's about to happen. He does play bishop g7. It's a mistake, apparently. The bishop did just come from that square last move. So is there a punishment? Now he brings his queen to a better square, something that you mentioned earlier, Aryan, and big threat. Any knight jump, and there'll be a decisive battery on the g-file. Knight takes pawn is the big immediate threat. Bishop needs to be defended. But how?
Yeah, what do you do now? Do you have to go queen e7 back? It's a very sad move, but...
And the white knight can
start
coming forward. This knight is almost a pre-move here.
We talked about nerves. Less than a minute now. Is this nerves?
Yeah, I think so. And it was that awkward position. Like neither side knew how to improve. Move ahead went back with his bishop, but as soon as you start retreating in these types of positions, as soon as you lack a plan, things go wrong. And knight sacrifice, is that a bluff? Magnus doesn't touch that knight. Maybe it could just have been taken, but that would have allowed the black pawn to come forward to f4. He's going after the black queen instead. Still a very nice position for Magnus Carlsen. Where does that queen go? Has to step back. There we go. Oh, taking this knight would also allow some checks on the white king.
But I feel like you should be able to take it, and then you can maybe push g6 later. King h1 now. Okay, goes knight g3. Still tricky. Probably king h1. Get the king out of that pin.
And how does black continue? Oh, he moves the rook, but doesn't that just blunder the pawn? White's knight can move out the way. There we go.
Magnus has this under control. He's a piece up now. He's gonna win this.
That was the last blunder from move ahead. He had no time, under 30 seconds. He needed to just sit, keep the tension, not do anything. But now Magnus has got it under lock and key. The king is coming across for this pawn, and everything else defends each other.
Is Magnus winning one more title Tuesday here?
I gave him 98 for a reason on the player card.
What are you going to give him now, 99?
He's moving on up.
Where do you go from there?
It's tough, but look at this, so professional. He brings his knight back, he leans back, and Magnus Carlsen gets the win. Move ahead so close, but not close enough. Looks like he's going to win Title Tuesday if the tie breaks work out in his favor.
But he's scouting at the computer. Do you think he's scouting now at his game, or do you think he's going straight to the leadership board to check out how it's going?
He's going to the scoreboard. Magnus cannot be 100% confident until the last results are in. Renato Tari is playing Haik Matarosian, and those two players could catch up with Magnus. They could also reach 9.5 points.
Well, right now it's looking like Tari is the one that could catch up because he is looking much better. But it's a time scramble actually in that game, so it's yet to be decided. 10 seconds for Tari, 21 for Martirosyan.
And he has a winning position, Tari.
Absolutely.
But, oh, there we go. The eval bar sliding back towards the center. 9 seconds for him. It's not an easy win at all. I don't think he's got enough time.
But just remember, guys, it is so that the tiebreak is how all the players you've been playing have performed in their own game. So you're essentially looking at every opponent's score making a difference in the tiebreak, and it could make some weird kind of results for the tiebreak. But it does help Magnus so much that he now played a player that has 9 points, because that'll bring him up.
Wow, I'm watching that game. It's 2 seconds versus 2 seconds. And something's about to happen. There was a result. It was a draw.
It was a draw. So that means Magnus wins it outright. There are no one tie in Magnus. He wins with 9.5 as the sole player.
It's actually quite rare that 9.5 is like a sole winner. Usually we have more people with 9.5. But it just shows how strong of a field it is. Like everyone gave away some points. Magnus played against the top 5 in that list.
And only Ukrainian Buksa against the Indian Nivedita are the two last players who are keeping it going here. But it does look like Buksa may be flagged here. 1.1 seconds left. 0.7, 0.6, 0.2, 0.1.
Countdown.
We are down to... No, actually, Buksa won with 0.1 seconds left where flagged opponent. So that was a thriller of a finish. But it leaves us with these standings. Magnus Carlsen wins ahead of Muva Head. Then we have Hikaru, we have Sevian, we have Martirosyan, we have Tari, and we have Tabatabai with 9 points. That's quite the big names there as well, Aryan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have maybe Tari is the only slight surprise as the IM, but we know he's a blitz shark.
I love his wordplay where he's streaming online. So with I'm terrible. It's
Mr. Terrible.
Mr. Terrible.
Yeah, yeah. Magnus is not human. I don't know how he does it.
Even we were asking earlier, do you need to bring your A game? Like Magnus brought his holiday game, but it was still enough for first place. It's just the consistency is incredible.
Is this a 98 rated player, as you were talking about? I mean, is he close to where he was when he was at his peak, when he's playing this kind of chess? I mean, not necessarily classical portion, but this kind of chess. Is he better than ever?
It's tough, right? I mean, he's won, 7, 8 World Blitz titles, so he's been consistent for a long time, but the level's just not dropping. I don't know if he's as good. Probably in some positions he's even better, some endgames. Probably in those attacking positions which need energy, maybe he shies away a bit, but it's efficient. Whatever he does, it works. And yeah, unbeaten. Only 3 draws today. Very impressive.
Let's talk to the main man himself, Magnus Carlsen. Congratulations on what was yet another Title Tuesday win. That was pretty impressive, Magnus.
Yeah, thank you. I felt that I played quite well today in general, so yeah, no complaints.
Listen, Magnus, we decided to listen in to what you were saying at one single point during this tournament, and it was the time when we heard what you were saying. You were saying it about fishing against Hikaru.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it did look like you were out fishing pieces at that point. How did that game feel? It felt like it was the game that really set the stage for everything today.
Yeah, I don't know. I decided to just play something I really didn't know in the opening, and I managed to win a good game. I think sometimes he gets a little bit unsettled when the games get really sharp. I completely forget that there's sound when you have Proctor on. So, but never mind.
It was not a problem whatsoever there. But back to this game, you're saying you're playing something you're not comfortable with at all. Is that something to add to the fun of this tournament for you, or is it just to try something different, or do you need to keep yourself motivated by trying different things?
No, that's kind of more about him also not being comfortable with these situations.
So you feel like you are the better player when you're not comfortable compared to him?
I've not necessarily, but he's really good and he's really fast. So it's sometimes good to take him a little bit out of that comfort zone. Yeah, it worked out well this time, and it turned out it was much needed. I really felt like this was one of those tournaments where I kind of ended up playing everybody. I think I played everybody from second till sixth in the tournament. So I certainly needed to overperform a little bit in order to win, and yeah, obviously beating Hikaru is part of that.
You're now heading to South Africa. You're playing freestyle. How do you feel about your chess as a whole when you're going into different kind of formats as well now?
I generally feel all right, but this, after all, it's a little bit different kind of chess. So I feel like playing somewhat longer formats, be that freestyle, classical, or longer rapids and so on, prepares me well for playing faster tournaments as well. But I don't necessarily feel that vice versa. It's that clear. So I feel like I might need a little bit of time to get into it in South Africa, but winning always gives a good feeling.
Just out of curiosity, Magnus, how long can you keep this level of play while not working very much on chess besides the tournaments you're playing? Do you think this is a level that you can maintain for a long time?
Time will show, won't it?
So I guess the die has been cast there, Magnus. We wish you the best of luck in South Africa, and we're so thankful that you're taking the time and so thankful that you're providing all the entertainment during the Title Tuesdays.
Thank you so much.
What do you think, David? How long can he maintain this level?
I don't know. I mean, people were questioning it when he walked away from the classical world title. Maybe he would take a step back from just kind of all formats. But now he's clearly loving it. and it's clearly going very well. It's hard to say. I think at least another half dozen years.
Yeah, but I mean, is he making a bit of a mockery out of it, Aryan? I mean, he's not working on his chess besides playing and having fun with it. This is the dream scenario for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I think the biggest mystery for me is how he manages to stay so sharp. Like, very often for Grandmasters, it's like if you don't work so much on chess, like you're just not that sharp at some point, like you start missing stuff, but it just doesn't happen to Magnus. For me, it's like if I don't do chess for like a couple of weeks, I just kind of get blind, like you start like missing some tactics and some tricks, but he's always super sharp and brings his A game. So I don't know, I mean, it's of course no secret that Magnus has an insane intuition, but the sharpness is what puzzles me.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting now to see how he performs with the different format, with the freestyle, with the many. It's a lot of names for freestyle chess, but the Fisher Random, whatever you choose to call it. It's. Do you think that is also something that is sustainable? Let's see how it goes. I'll maybe struggle a little in the beginning, and I'll get the hang of it pretty quickly.
I think for Magnus, the factor if it's fun or not matters a lot, and I think generally he really enjoys like the freestyle format and the Title Tuesday. He just really looks forward, enjoys playing these events, and when he's enjoying playing, he generally does very well.
And speaking of the Title Tuesday, let's take a look at now what is the total standings here for Title Tuesday. Magnus, and this is for Split 2, guys. This was the first game week for Split 2, the winter split. So obviously Magnus is ahead with 10 points for the win. We see here what is essentially standing from today, the top 10 places and the ones who brings points forward.
Exactly, and fantastic news for Sina Move Ahead, who does get 7 points. That could be priceless come the end of this split for his career, getting to the Global Chess Championship and maybe even the EWC. For Hikaru, it's a nice bonus, and this is where we stand overall after the first week of this split.
Magnus, ahead of Hikaru, ahead of Faruja. Who would have guessed, huh?
Yeah, probably the top two, maybe top three, easy to predict, even though Faruja wasn't even here this week. But elsewhere, it's getting really, really close. Between 4th place and 12th place, only 12 points.
Well, as we can see here, even though there's 400 players playing close to 400 today and every single week, if you go at the bottom of this list, you have 12 points, and the leader has 71. It's pretty crazy.
It's a big difference for sure. Like many players on that list is not a surprise. I would say like Lazovic always been up there, Bortnik, I mean MBL, and these are no strangers, obviously. So the Title Tuesday keeps delivering.
I love Title Tuesdays, and I really appreciate spending time with you guys. Aryan, David, it's been a pleasure. I'm so happy that we get to share Title Tuesdays with you guys as well, that we have this new format, and that we're back in only 7 more days. We're back next Tuesday. It's going to be yet another Title Tuesday at 4:40 times CET. So make sure that you join us for what is going to be probably another day of thrilling action here from Title Tuesday in the Take studio. So until then, I'll see you soon, and good luck with your chess.
He's got some nice checks. There we go. He forks the Black King and Rook. He's about to deliver checkmate, and Anish gets the win. No, it looks like a big blunder from Andrei Sipenko. Oh, and Savian bails out. He takes that nice stalemate to end the game. Karu gets out of jail. And there we go. Queen's coming off the board. He's just a clear pawn up.
Is this actually losing or not is the question. I mean, I'm also going to lose on time. I mean, it's just an impossible spot to be in.
And that is game over. Magnus takes the win.
Impossible spot to be in.
Here we go.